Namaste. Welcome to Zeel's Astrology, your go-to channel for all things Vedic astrology. Now, before you jump to your specific analysis, I want to mention that this video is also available in Hindi as well. So, those who prefer Hindi, I have given the link for the same in the description box below. Now, this video is a bit different from my usual ones. Of course, I will go over how this transit affects each ascendant, but I will also cover something extra. I will explain what happens when Saturn moves over any planet you have in Pisces. For example, if you have Sun in Pisces, I will talk about how Saturn will affect your Sun. The same goes for Moon, Mercury, Venus and all other planets. So here's how you should watch this video. First, listen to the general part for your ascendant because it applies to everyone, whether or not you have any planets in Pisces. Then if Saturn is transiting over one of your natal planets, make sure to watch that section too. This way you will get the full picture, your ascendant's general analysis plus the impact of Saturn moving over your specific planet. Also, don't skip the overall general analysis at the beginning of the video. I will discuss how Saturn's shift will affect a macro or at global level. And any big change at global level will also influence you on a personal level or on a micro level. So understanding the bigger picture is just as important as ascendant-wise analysis. Lastly, I am offering a flat 15% discount on whole chart reading consultation, only on whole chart readings. This offer is valid for bookings made until April 18, 2025. And the consultation slots for these bookings will be made available after April 25. So slots will be given strictly on the basis of first come first serve basis. So the earlier you book, the sooner your consultation will be scheduled. For more details, feel free to email me. The email is given in the description box below. Now let's begin with Saturn in Pisces and what it means for both individuals and the world as a whole. On March 29, 2025, a big change happened. Saturn moved from Aquarius to Pisces, starting a new cycle that will last for next 2.5 years until June 3, 2027. This shift will mark the beginning of Sadhisati for Aries moon signs, the peak phase of Sadhisati for Pisces moon sign, and the final setting phase for Aquarius moon signs. I have already made a video explaining Sadhisati in detail. So if you are interested, you can find the link in the description box below. This also marks a beginning of Saturn return for Pisces for those who have Saturn positioned in Pisces in their natal chart. And before diving deeper into this topic, I would be grateful if you could subscribe, like and share these videos with your friends and family. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you are always up to date with our latest content. You can also follow me on Zeel's Astrology on Instagram now. And for personal consultations, feel free to email me. All the links are provided in the description box below. Pisces is the last sign in the zodiac and the 12th sign in Kalpurush Kundli. Saturn's influence in Pisces will be deeply connected to Jupiter since Jupiter rules this sign. This means that Jupiter's position and strength will be just as important as Saturn's in this transit. Apart from Jupiter, the transit of Rahu and Ketu will also play a major role here, which I will also discuss later in this video. Now you see, Pisces is a spiritual sign that teaches us an important truth. No matter which religion or God you believe in, there is one supreme power that governs everything. This higher force is the reason the world exists and continues to function. Pisces reminds us that surrendering to this divine power is the ultimate truth. That's why Pisces is considered the sign of liberation. In Vedic astrology, it is believed to be a place where Lord Mahavishnu resides with goddess Mahalakshmi. Pisces represents the vast economic ocean, Ksir Sagar, where Mahavishnu rests. It is connected to Vaikuntha, the divine realm. Pisces is ruled by Jupiter and is considered a neutral sign. So when Saturn enters Pisces, it brings a unique energy because Pisces is like an endless ocean, vast, deep and without limits. Most planets struggle in this sign because they get lost in its depth except for Venus. The reason planets lose themselves here is simple. Pisces is a place of surrender. This sign teaches that you must leave everything behind and bow down to the divine. Say for example, if Sun is in Pisces, it has to let go of its ego. If Mercury is in Pisces, it must give up its intellect and simply trust the higher power. That is why Saturn's presence in Pisces can feel a little tricky. You see, Saturn moves slowly, but it will gradually take away the attachments, the things, the people in your life that it considers unnecessary. Whether it's relationships, material possessions or habits, Saturn will make you let go of what no longer serves you. Pisces also represents loss, but not necessarily in a negative way. A better word would be letting go. Saturn will either help you release things willingly or force you to do so unwillingly. So if you willingly give to others, such as helping a needy person, that is a positive form of letting go. But if you hold on tightly to things that Saturn thinks you no longer need, you may lose them unexpectedly. For those struggling with addictions, whether it's alcohol, smoking, drugs, etc., Saturn in Pisces can intensify these habits at first. There's a reason for this. Here Saturn may push you deeper into such indulgence just to bring you to a breaking point. This could lead to health issues or even forced intervention like rehabilitation, making you quit the addiction. However, this mainly applies to people whose birth chart supports such tendencies, not for everyone. But always remember, with Saturn, everything happens gradually, slowly. Nothing is sudden. It's a step-by-step process. On a very positive note, when Saturn enters Pisces, it creates a beautiful time for spirituality. This is an especially powerful period for those who are ready, who are already on a spiritual path, or those who genuinely want to grow spiritually. For evolved souls, Saturn will teach the true meaning of spirituality, helping them go deeper into their spiritual journey. Now, Saturn has a natural tendency to shrink or restrict certain things wherever it goes. Since Pisces is a water sign, Saturn's presence here may lead to reduction in water resources. This may even lead to decrease in how much water some people consume. On a macro level, it could mean water shortages in many parts of the world. So wherever you are, try to conserve water as much as possible. This transit can also trigger earthquakes, internal riots within countries, which I will explain further in this video. Now, Ketu will enter the sign of Leo in the month of May 2025. So both Saturn and Ketu will be forming 6-8 relationship with each other, which is known as Shadashtak Yoga. This will create a tug of war between discipline and disorder. On one hand, Ketu will push people towards indiscipline, making them careless, lazy or detached. While on the other hand, Saturn, position 8 from Ketu, in the Marak Sthan of Ketu, will respond by enforcing discipline. Saturn will act like a strict teacher, pulling people back to structure and responsibility. It will feel like being stuck in a puzzle on one side, and Ketu pulls towards chaos, and on the other side, Saturn pushes towards the other. So if you find yourself struggling with these conflicts, The key is to balance both energies. You need to maintain discipline without becoming too rigid and embrace detachment without losing control of your responsibilities, which is one of the most difficult things to do. The house in your chart where this struggle happens is where you will need to find balance the most. Here it creates an energy of separation and abrupt changes. This influence will lead to many headless decisions by governments and authorities worldwide. In fact, we have already started to see the effects of this combination. Whether in government, private or public sector, people may notice that their bosses, seniors or other authority figures are making decisions that seem impulsive or poorly thought out. The real impact of these decisions will become much more evident by the end of Saturn's transit in Pisces around mid-2027. That will be the phase where Saturn starts delivering the results of past actions, and during that time Jupiter will also support Saturn, further amplifying the consequences. Meanwhile, Rahu will enter Aquarius in May mid, moving to the 12th house from Saturn. This placement will increase people's desires because Rahu is all about expansion. It wants more and more with no limits. Since Rahu also co-rules Aquarius, its energy here will be quite strong. People may become overly ambitious or obsessed with their desires. However, Saturn, as the main ruler of Aquarius, will have the final word. At first, Saturn might allow Rahu to do what it wants, letting people chase their desires freely, but there will come a time when Saturn will make them face the consequences of their excessive greed or wrongdoings. This could result in major losses for those who have been reckless in pursuing their desires. That is why I said Saturn in Pisces is a tricky position this time. Pisces is a sign of liberation, the sign where you must surrender and let go. If too many desires get entangled in this sign, it means you will have to let go of them at some point. And interestingly, sometimes when you finally release your desires willingly, they may actually come true in unexpected ways. But the biggest challenge for people in Kali Yuga is to letting go of desires. If you don't release them willingly, Saturn will eventually make you do it, whether you like it or not. This creates a complicated situation, not just between Saturn and Ketu, but also with Rahu. Rahu in Aquarius will increase people's desires, making them chase after more and more. But Saturn, being the ruler of Aquarius and transiting Pisces, will act as a reality check. Saturn will break these desires or put restrictions on them, forcing people to let go. However, this same combination of Saturn Rahu will also bring massive technological advancements. We will see major developments, especially in naval technology, with countries working to strengthen their navies. Some of these innovations might be things we have never seen or heard of before. Whether these advancements lead to constructive future or destructive ones remains to be seen. This transit is also activating both the watery and airy elements. Saturn will be in Pisces, a watery sign, and will connect with Cancer and Scorpio. At the same time, Rahu will be in Aquarius and Jupiter will be in Gemini. Both are airy signs. With water and air energies getting activated together, it can lead to significant climate effects. This combination may increase the chances of cyclones, water shortages, and even tsunamis in some parts of the world. It could also trigger earthquake, especially ones with epicenters in or near the ocean. It can significantly impact the environment and atmospheric cycles. One of the key changes will be drastic and unpredictable shifts in rainfall patterns. Some regions may experience excessive rainfall leading to floods, which paradoxically can cause water scarcity, while other areas may face severe droughts due to lack of rainfall. This water scarcity won't become immediately apparent when Saturn enters Pisces. Instead, its effect will surface gradually over the next few months and become more evident by the time Saturn moves into Aries in 2027. Regions that traditionally receive less rainfall may suddenly see excessive downpours, while places accustomed to heavy rains might experience prolonged dry spells. The most critical impact of this transit will be on global ecosystem, particularly water resources. Oceans, freshwater bodies, and overall water availability will undergo changes, which in turn will directly affect food production and vegetation. To mitigate these potential challenges, it would be wise to take proactive steps. The only planet that brings some relief here is Jupiter. In a way, Jupiter is a blessing for Saturn because it will be positioned fourth from Saturn in the sign of Gemini. As Jupiter will move into Gemini in May mid this year, while it is there, it will act as a source of happiness for Saturn, since it will be in the Suksthan, the house of comfort from Saturn. As long as Jupiter stays in Gemini, people will hold on to hope and faith. Even if challenges arise, they will still believe they can overcome challenges, and Jupiter will help them find solutions. With Jupiter in Gemini, there will always be a ray of hope. No matter what your ascendant is, the area of your chart where Pisces falls will go through significant changes. And as mentioned earlier, this transit of Saturn in Pisces is especially powerful for spirituality, and Jupiter will also play a crucial role here. Those who have stayed on the path of dharma, meaning righteousness, not just religion, those who are true to themselves and genuinely spiritual without being rigid to their beliefs, will find it easier to navigate any challenges Saturn brings. Jupiter will guide them through this period. This transit of Saturn will also lead to major geopolitical shifts. The sign of Leo is being strongly affected by all these planetary movements, and Taurus ascendants or those with moon in Taurus will also experience significant changes. Also, I have said this multiple times in my earlier videos that the period from March and to the end of May approximately is going to be very crucial. Why? Because Pisces is, as of now, is a host of 5 planets, that is Saturn, Rahu, Venus, Mercury and Sun. And since Venus is in exchange with Jupiter, so this makes 6 planets in Pisces. This creates a planetary war. This entire period from the end of March till the end of May is a very powerful period and can bring big changes, not just for individuals but on a global level too. It can feel very confusing, emotionally heavy and mentally unclear. You might feel like you are floating in the middle of a big ocean with no direction. A lot of people may feel unsure about what's happening around them and what steps to take. The stock markets could go through big ups and downs. Governments around the world may take sudden and unexpected decisions. People might feel restricted either physically or emotionally. So it is very, very, very crucial for all of us not to make any impulsive decisions during this time in any area of life, including financial investments. Instead of rushing decisions or completely surrendering to situations, take time to think carefully and make well-analyzed choices. Decisions should be patient and wise. If possible, think things through multiple times before acting. Here, nature nature will also be active during this time. Air, water and earth elements will have a strong presence here that could lead to natural calamities such as earthquakes, cyclones, tsunamis, including fire hazards. However, once the planets except Saturn, they move out of Pisces, things will slowly and gradually start settling down slightly. However, the level of intensity on you will entirely depend on your personal chart, your planets, your Mahadasha and everything else. Now let's talk about aspects of Saturn. Saturn's third aspect will be on Taurus. Until May, Jupiter is in Taurus, which keeps things positive. But once Jupiter moves out, Taurus will start seeing noticeable changes. In fact, these changes have already begun. When Jupiter first entered Taurus, it boosted the stock market. But now, as Jupiter is in the last phase of Taurus and Saturn entered Pisces, we are seeing strong fluctuations. Many people will now face real struggles in earning money. While Jupiter was in Taurus, it made easy money available for many, especially in speculative markets like stock market, because in a way speculative market are an easy source of money. But now Saturn will bring reality into focus, showing that easy money isn't always reliable. Hard work will be necessary to earn wealth. Once Jupiter leaves Taurus, easy gains will slow down, and Saturn's third aspect will fully influence Taurus. Saturn doesn't support quick, effortless money, so those who relied on easy money might struggle, whereas those who have always worked hard won't feel much of a difference. For people with moon in Taurus, this period might feel heavy, as Saturn's third aspect, Vakradrashti, will directly impact their moon. I always say that Saturn's third aspect is about purification. So wherever Taurus is in your chart, that area will go through a purification process. There will be challenges at first, but if you work hard with patience and honesty, Saturn will reward you in the long run. With Saturn influencing Taurus, food habits should be monitored and speech should also be handled carefully. The house in your chart where Taurus falls should not be ignored, and you should pay attention to matters related to it. Now, the seventh aspect of Saturn will fall on the sign of Virgo. According to Kalpurush, this activates your prarabdha, meaning your past karma will come into play. If you have enemies causing you trouble or lingering debts, Saturn will gradually help you overcome these challenges, but only if you are actively working towards resolving them. Saturn always demands efforts, so if you are genuinely trying to clear your debts or deal with enemies, Saturn will support you. But if you sit back and do nothing, Saturn won't help. Instead, it may make things even more difficult. That's why it's important to keep putting in the effort. Since Virgo represents the 6th house in Kalpurush, health matters will also be activated. It's important to take care of any existing health issues and be more mindful of diseases. This aspect also brings attention to hidden enemies. So be cautious of people who may not have your best interest at heart. Saturn's influence here will also push you to maintain balance between your personal and professional life. Anything done in excess, whether working, overworking or neglecting responsibilities, won't be supported by Saturn. Both areas of life need to be given equal attention. Now, the 10th aspect of Saturn will fall on the sign of Sagittarius. Saturn's 10th aspect will be on Sagittarius. This means after May, when Jupiter moves into the sign of Gemini, it will also aspect Sagittarius. So both Saturn and Jupiter will be influencing this sign. You see, Pisces and Sagittarius both are ruled by Jupiter and both are under direct impact of Saturn. Pisces because Saturn is placed here in Pisces, and Sagittarius because Saturn is aspecting it. One major effect of this will be the exposure of fake spiritual leaders and gurus. Their scams and hidden truths will start coming to light one after another. Jupiter's aspect will assist Saturn in cleaning these things out. Because of this, people's understanding of dharma will go through a transformation. Over the next 2.5 years of Saturn's transit in Pisces, we might witness a significant shift, almost like a revolution in how people view dharma. Sagittarius, being a fiery sign, will experience intense change. Something like a burning away of old beliefs to make space for something new. Saturn's aspect on Sagittarius may lead to a formation of different groups of people. Say one group will become more rigid and orthodox about dharma, strongly clinging to their religious identity and engaging in debates over which religion is superior. On the other hand, another group will take a more open-minded approach, rejecting these conflicts and realizing that fighting over religion is meaningless. This group will prioritize humanity over religious differences and move towards a broader perspective on life. At the same time, some people will take a negative path while others will move on a positive direction. Which way an individual goes will entirely depend on their birth chart, planetary positions, and ongoing dashas and antadashas. Note that Sagittarius represents dharma. Dharma does not mean religion. Dharma means righteousness, the path of truth and integrity. Since transformation always comes with challenges, this shift in Sagittarius may initially bring heated situations. So far, the double transit of Saturn and Jupiter was happening in Scorpio, a sign associated with secrecy. That's why many changes have been happening behind the scenes in hidden ways. But when this double transit shifts to Sagittarius, everything that was concealed will start coming to surface. At first, this may create a lot of aggression and unrest among people, especially regarding religious beliefs. We are already seeing this happen in the news. However, over time, this transformation will change many people's perspectives. In Sagittarius, nothing will remain hidden. This double transit on Sagittarius may also lead to an increase in fire-related incidents or communal riots. Hidden enemies, especially for nations, will now become visible. Sagittarius is also a sign linked to open war, so this transit could indicate open conflicts rather than hidden ones. This conflicts can be internal or external. However, let me clear that the effect of these transits will depend on your personal chart. If your birth chart is strong, if your Mahadasha and Antardasha are favorable, you will experience these changes more smoothly compared to others. One more thing about nakshatra. Saturn will be most intense while transiting Purva Bhadrapad nakshatra in Pisces. Although it will also be strong in Uttar Bhadrapad since the nakshatra is ruled by Saturn. Its intensity will be higher in Purva Bhadrapad, and Saturn will be moving very faster than its usual speed in Purva Bhadrapad. It will be covering the entire fourth pada of this nakshatra in just a span of 1 month, and it will be entering Uttar Bhadrapad on April 28, 2025, this month itself. So basically, this fast movement of Saturn in Purva Bhadrapad will be a bit more intense. This period can trigger earthquakes or natural calamities, riots, countries going against each other, and whatnot. I won't be making a separate video on Purva Bhadrapad, but yes, I will cover Uttar Bhadrapad in more detail in a separate nakshatra-based video. This video is a general overview of how the next 2.5 years of Saturn's transit in Pisces will unfold. Now, who will be the most impacted by this transit? If you have any planets in Pisces, you will experience strong effects. The impact will be even more noticeable if these planets are conjunct with other planets. Those with Sun-Saturn conjunction, Moon-Saturn conjunction, Jupiter moon conjunction, Sun or moon conjunction with either Rahu or Ketu or Rahu Ketu transiting over your natal Sun or moon will also feel this transit intensely. The ascendants most affected will be Pisces itself, Sagittarius, those who have Saturn in 6th, 8th or 12th in their natal chart. People are going through the Mahadasha or Antardasha, Pratyantardasha of Saturn, Moon, Jupiter, Rahu or Ketu. They will be impacted the most by this transit, and those undergoing Sadesati, especially Pisces Moon or Pisces Ascendant, they will also see the impact of this transit the most. Now coming to the remedial measures. For remedies, regularly chanting Hanuman Chalisa and Vishnu Sahasranam will be extremely beneficial during this transit. I highly recommend Vishnu Sahasranam for everyone, as it brings protection, stability and the ability to handle Saturn's lessons with wisdom and patience. Consistently reciting these will not only help in reducing the intensity of the challenges, but also in maintaining a balanced and peaceful state of mind throughout this period. First, I will talk about the general impact of Saturn's transit in the sign of Pisces for your ascendant. After that, I will explain what happens when Saturn transits over different planets placed in Pisces in your chart. So first, listen to the general part because it applies to everyone, whether you have any planet in Pisces or not. Then move on to the part where I explain what Saturn will do when it moves over your natal planet in Pisces. Finally, try to combine both the parts for more complete understanding. But let me be very clear, the final outcome of any transit always depends on your personal chart. So let's begin. Now coming to Aries ascendant. For Aries native, Saturn being the lord of your 10th and your 11th house will now be transiting your 12th house, the sign of Pisces. For the transit of Saturn in Pisces, you will need to be very careful of your expenditures because remember, Saturn is your 11th lord. And being the 11th lord, it will be transiting your 12th house. Yes, Rahu from May onwards will be transiting your 11th house. So Rahu's transit is beneficial for financially. But on the other hand, Saturn being your 11th lord in the 12th house is also likely to increase your expenses as well. So this could lead to dissatisfaction if you are not mindful of your spendings. So here, managing your finances wisely will be very much needed. This transit can also bring career-related stress and issues connected to health, such as issues connected to bones or feet. For those whose career is related to foreign, such as import, export, or those who work in multinational companies, those who are into foreign trade, or those who are into foreign accounting or insurance, those who are into deep down fields like forensics, healings, etc. This period of Saturn's transit in the sign of Pisces may provide favorable results. However, career success will only come with delays, obstacles, patience, and a need for extra effort. This transit also indicates foreign travel, or you may go to abroad for work if your chart permits. This is a beautiful period for diving deep into spirituality. This is also a good time for mantra chanting, deepening your spiritual practices and performing spiritual rituals at home, like Havan, Katha, etc. Health should be a priority during this transit, particularly issues related to sleep, anxiety, or chronic conditions. Saturn in the 12th house often brings disturbances in rest patterns, so maintaining a disciplined routine will be crucial. Additionally, for those who struggle with addictions, whether be it smoking, alcohol, or any such unhealthy habits, Saturn might first intensify these tendencies before forcing a reality check through health complications. It is strongly advised that Aries ascendants consciously work on eliminating such bad habits. A disciplined lifestyle, meditation, and regular exercise can help mitigate these negative effects. Now let's talk about the aspects of Saturn. Saturn's third aspect will fall on your second house, the sign of Taurus. If you have any unhealthy food or drinking habits, then Saturn may bring the direct effect on your health, urging you to adopt a more disciplined approach in your diet and lifestyle. So it will try to change your diet. Additionally, Saturn's presence may lead to dehydration for some. So it's highly recommended to stay hydrated and maintain a balanced diet. I always say that Saturn's third aspect is an aspect of purification. So Saturn will try to bring purification in your second house. This may manifest as conflicts within your family, leading to necessary but difficult conversations or situations that push you to address unresolved matters. At the same time, Saturn might increase your family responsibilities, requiring you to take on more serious role in handling family matters. Financially, you might feel restricted or controlled. Saturn's influence could lead to limitations in your sources of income or create delays in financial growth. This is not necessarily a negative thing, as Saturn teaches discipline. This aspect encourages you to be mindful of your savings, avoid unnecessary expenses, and work steadily towards long-term financial security. Saturn will test your patience in these areas, but if you manage your resources wisely, you will come out stronger and more stable. Now, the seventh aspect of Saturn will fall on your sixth house, the sign of Virgo. Here you might feel that your routine life is getting off track. Here you might feel lazy and start procrastinating your daily life. You could feel stuck in the same routine life where you are doing the same work repeatedly without much change. So it is important to avoid laziness. Keep yourself motivated as much as possible and stay active. However, Saturn operates slowly and steadily, meaning that over time, this transit will help you overcome obstacles and even win over enemies. If you have ongoing conflicts with rivals, competitors, or at workplace politics, Saturn may favor you, provided you stay committed to your efforts and be ethical. For those preparing for competitive exams, this transit can be beneficial, but only if you put in consistent hard work. Now, the 10th aspect of Saturn will fall on your 9th house, the sign of Sagittarius. Your 9th house will undergo significant transformations. This is because, in addition to Saturn's influence, Jupiter will enter the sign of Gemini on May 14 and will also directly aspect your 9th house until it is present in the sign of Gemini. When two major planets like Saturn and Jupiter influence a single house, major shifts take place, some of which may be visible while others work behind the scenes. One of the key areas affected will be matters related to your father. His health may require attention, and certain unresolved issues concerning your relationship with him could come to surface. However, since Jupiter's aspect is also present, it will provide solutions and support to help you navigate these matters, provided you take proactive steps to address them. On a more positive note, Saturn's presence in the 12th house is highly favorable for spiritual growth, and when combined with Jupiter's aspect on the 9th house, it creates one of the best planetary combinations for deepening your spiritual wisdom. You may encounter a spiritual mentor or teacher who plays a vital role in your journey. There are also strong possibilities for engaging in long-distance spiritual travel, pilgrimages, or pursuing higher knowledge. For students pursuing higher education, this transit presents an excellent opportunity to focus and work hard. Saturn demands discipline and perseverance, while Jupiter brings wisdom and expansion. If you remain dedicated to your studies, then it can bring long-term benefits in your academic journey and career in a long run. Now, coming to the planetary transits. If you have Sun positioned in the sign of Pisces in your natal chart, and when Saturn will transit over your natal sun, it will bring changes in your children's life. Your children might go abroad during this time, and this time may even bring concerns about their health as well. Students may find it harder to focus, so staying disciplined and avoiding distractions will be important. Not a good time to invest in speculative market. Now coming to moon, those who have moon in the sign of Pisces in their natal chart, and when Saturn transits over your natal moon in the sign of Pisces, this marks as the peak phase of Sadesati for you. This phase can bring some mental stress and anxiety, sometimes making you overthink unnecessarily. In turn, it can affect your sleep, so it's important to stay calm and not let unnecessary worries take over. You may go to foreign land if your chart permits. However, since this is a tricky time for you, make sure to make well thought out decisions. Now coming to Mars, if you have Mars in the sign of Pisces in your D1 chart, and when Saturn transits over your Mars in the sign of Pisces, then it may bring health issues for you, as Mars is your ascendant lord. This transit of Saturn over your Mars can bring some sort of insults or of the ups and downs as well for you. But mainly, take care of your health. Taking care of your health will be very much important. Now coming to Venus. If you have Venus in the sign of Pisces in your natal chart, and when Saturn transits over your natal Venus, on the positive side, this transit will try to draw you towards spirituality. This can create issues in your relationship with your spouse and family. For those whose business is related to abroad, initially Saturn may provide you difficulties, but if you work out on those problems, then the same Saturn will later on provide you growth as well. Now coming to Mercury, if you have Mercury in the sign of Pisces in your birth chart, Saturn's transit over your natal Mercury can bring some important changes in your life. If you have younger siblings, they might get a chance to travel or even move abroad during this time, if their chart permits. This transit may also help you slowly come out of any ongoing legal issues or disputes, especially if you have been walking on the path of dharma, doing the right things and putting in honest effort. Health should not be ignored at all. This transit can also lead to misunderstandings or tensions with your neighbors or your younger siblings, so be careful. Now coming to Jupiter, those who have Jupiter in the sign of Pisces in their natal chart, and when Saturn moves over your natal Jupiter, it can affect how you feel about life. Jupiter is known as a planet of hope, positivity and growth, but when Saturn, the planet of discipline and restriction, transits over Jupiter, it can make you feel low even if there's nothing majorly wrong. You might feel like your motivation is going down and everything is slowing down. During this time, try to stay positive, peaceful and happy as much as possible. Positively, it's actually a powerful time for spiritual growth and doing spiritual rituals at home like puja, havan or any peaceful rituals that can help you bring good and positive vibes and mental peace. This transit can also bring spiritual travel or even foreign trips if your birth chart supports it. Many people might also come across a spiritual teacher or guide during this time, someone who helps them grow on a deeper level. Now coming to Rahu. If you have Rahu in the sign of Pisces in your natal chart, and when Saturn transits over your natal Rahu, it can bring some big changes and challenges. This transit might support you if you are planning to travel to foreign countries. Rahu usually creates illusions or confusions, especially in the 12th house. So if this transit goes positive in your chart, then Saturn will try to clear those illusions and bring you back to reality. And if this goes negative, then it can increase those illusions. It can also increase your fears. However, it will entirely depend on your personal birth chart. And take care of your health and take at least try to have good sleep as well. Now for those who have Ketu in the sign of Pisces, when Saturn will transit over your natal Ketu, this will be a deeply spiritual time for you. This period can help you grow a lot on the inside and feel more connected to your spiritual path. If you have been living honestly, following the path of Dharma and doing the right things with a pure heart, then this transit can bring fulfillment of your desires. But mainly for those who have learned to control their desires and understand the difference between what they truly need and what they truly want. This isn't a time for chasing material things, but rather a time where inner peace, contentment and clarity can come into your life. The more detached you are from unnecessary desires, the more peaceful and fulfilling this period can feel for you. Now if you have Saturn in the sign of Pisces in your birth chart, and when Saturn will transit over your natal Saturn, this will mark as Saturn return for you. It's a major turning point in life and often brings big changes, especially in your career. You might get new responsibilities or even a shift in a direction when it comes to work. For some people, this transit can also open up opportunities to go abroad for career-related reasons, if your chart supports it. However, during Saturn return, health should not be ignored at all. Get enough rest, eat well, and try to avoid stress. This phase might feel a little heavy, but it helps you grow stronger, more mature and more focused on what really matters in life. First, I will talk about the general impact of Saturn's transit in the sign of Pisces for your ascendant. After that, I will explain what happens when Saturn transits over different planets placed in Pisces in your chart. So first, listen to the general part because it applies to everyone, whether you have any planet in Pisces or not. Then move on to the part where I explain what Saturn will do when it moves over your natal planet in Pisces. Finally, try to combine both the parts for more complete understanding. But let me be very clear, the final outcome of any transit always depends on your personal chart. So let's begin. For Taurus natives, Saturn entered the sign of Pisces in your 11th house. Now this transit of Saturn can bring financial gains for you if you have been putting in good effort and maintaining positive karma in your life. But remember, these gains may come slowly or in a structured way, or I can say instead Saturnian way, that is Shane Shane. Saturn doesn't like shortcuts. It respects hard work, patience and sincerity. If you have been working with good intentions, not complaining and accepting life's challenges calmly, then Saturn will provide positive results. Saturn is also the lord of your 9th house, which is about higher knowledge, wisdom and blessings from elders or gurus. So this time can also bring opportunities to learn more, maybe through studies or spiritual growth. You might even receive some kind of help or blessings from your father or gain something valuable from him. This gain doesn't always mean money. It can be knowledge, guidance or emotional support too. For those working jobs, if you have been waiting for a promotion, Saturn might bring that for you only if your chart permits. Along with this, Saturn may give you more responsibilities at work. So get ready for hard work. On a social side, this transit may also bring changes in your social life including your friends. If as per Saturn, if something or someone isn't needed in your life, then Saturn might remove or distance you from them. It's like cleaning out what's unnecessary so you can move forward with the right people and things around you. Try to welcome these changes instead of resisting them. If you go with the flow and stay honest in your efforts, you will handle this period really well. But if you avoid your duties and resist the lessons Saturn brings, then it might not be entertained by Saturn. This transit could also bring challenges with higher authorities and elder siblings as well. And one tip for Taurus natives that instead of investing in speculative markets, focus on long-term, low-risk investments, as it will be supported by Saturn in the 11th house. Saturn is positioned in your 11th house, which is the house of your desires and gains. And Saturn doesn't deny desires, but it only fulfills the ones in a positive manner that are genuine, righteous, and aligned with your karmic path. So if you have been working hard and following a righteous approach in life, Saturn will slowly start fulfilling your wishes slowly and gradually during this time, this transit. Now coming to the aspects of Saturn, the third aspect of Saturn will fall on your first house, your ascendant, your Deha. When Saturn's third aspect lands here, it's like a reminder from the universe to focus on your well-being. I always say that Saturn's third aspect is about purification. So during this time, Saturn wants to clean and improve you, whether it's your physical health, your thinking, or how you live your daily life. If you have been ignoring your health or not taking proper care of yourself, Saturn may push you to do so. Saturn tends to bring dehydration, so drink plenty of your water during this time. So this is a time to get your routine in order. Eat better, sleep well, take out time for exercise, and avoid any unhealthy habits you may have picked up. Your personality may go through a kind of transformation during this time, but it will be for your betterment. Saturn just wants you to become the best and most responsible version of yourself. This is also a good time if you want to lose weight. Now, if I talk about Saturn's 7th aspect, its 7th aspect will fall on your 5th house, the sign of Virgo. For students, this aspect means you will need to work harder in your studies. Saturn may test your dedication by making you feel distracted or lazy at times. But this is just a part of the lesson. If you stay disciplined and focused, Saturn will reward your efforts. The key is consistency and not giving up. If you are in a romantic relationship, this period might bring some ups and downs here. Saturn will test the strength of your bond. Humility and patience will really help your relationship survive any challenge. If the relationship is healthy and meant for you, and if your birth chart supports it, then this aspect could even lead to something auspicious like marriage. For married people, if your chart supports those who have been trying to conceive, this might be a time when things begin to move forward, though it could still come with some challenges. If you are already pregnant, be careful with your health and follow proper care during this time. Now, the 10th aspects of Saturn will fall on the sign of Sagittarius, your 8th house. Here, both your ascendant, that is your first house, and your 8th house are under Saturn's watch. And soon Jupiter will enter the sign of Gemini, and until it is present in the sign of Gemini, it will also aspect your 8th house along with Saturn. So, double transit here can bring deep inner changes and bring transformations in your life. Here, health becomes a very important focus during this time. If you already have any long-term or chronic health issues, make sure you are not ignoring them. Yes, Jupiter will provide you some relief in the health part until it is present in the sign of Gemini, but not after that. There can be inheritance of property only if your chart permits. And you should avoid making any risky, short-term or impulsive financial decisions, especially in speculative markets. It's better to focus on safe and long-term investments. Don't rush into decisions whether they are about money, relationships, or anything else. Saturn wants you to move with patience and wisdom. Now coming to the planets, if you have Sun placed in the sign of Pisces in your D1 chart, and when Saturn transits over your natal Sun, it may feel frustrating as Saturn tends to break the ego of Sun and brings lot of hard work. But Saturn is testing your patience, maturity, and how well you handle things without letting your ego take over. On a positive note, if you work in public sector or in government job, this same transit can also bring growth or even promotions, though it will still come with lot of hard work and responsibilities. This transit may even bring some transformations related to your home. Now coming to moon, if you have moon in the sign of Pisces in your D1 chart, and when Saturn transits over your natal moon, it marks as a peak phase of your Sade Sati. This can be an emotionally sensitive period. Saturn may bring a heavy feeling on your heart and mind, and you might feel mentally drained at times. So stay calm as much as possible. You may go through a phase of financial pressure and restrictions, and you may even have some issues with your neighbors or siblings during this time. So take care in these parts as much as possible. Now coming to Mars. If you have Mars in the sign of Pisces in your 11th house, and when Saturn transits over your natal Mars, it can help you do a meaningful hard work, especially in career planning, setting long-term goals, and creating smart financial strategies. But on a flip side, this transit may also create some misunderstandings or emotional distance in your married life or personal relationships. Try to stay calm, communicate clearly, but not harshly. Take care of your partner's health. Also, you may experience some difficulty sleeping or resting properly. So make sure you are taking care of your routine and getting enough rest. Now coming to Venus. If you have Venus in the sign of Pisces in your birth chart, and when Saturn transits over your natal Venus, then this transit becomes important because Venus is your ascendant lord. This creates stress when it comes to achieving your desired goals. Try to stay disciplined in your routine life and avoid overspending on unnecessary things. Regarding your enemies and health-wise, you need to be very cautious. You will overcome these challenges slowly and gradually. On a brighter side, financially, this can be a good time, especially for people who work in fields like law, healing, counseling, alternative medicine, veterinary sciences, and similar fields. Now coming to Mercury. If you have Mercury in the sign of Pisces, and when Saturn transits over your natal Mercury in the 11th house, this can support a possibility for pregnancy for those married, but only if your chart supports. But expect some hurdles. Family responsibilities may increase, and a good time for finances. Now coming to Jupiter. If you have Jupiter in the sign of Pisces in your D1 chart, and when Saturn transits over your natal Jupiter in your 11th house, you may get sudden gains during this period. You could also benefit from ancestral property during this time if your overall chart supports it. You may feel restricted, or you may also feel lack of happiness or satisfaction when it comes to your elder siblings or finances or your friends as well. Here Saturn will bring major life's lesson. You may also come across a spiritual teacher or feel drawn towards someone you think can guide you. But if the person is not genuine, Saturn will expose the truth and help you see things clearly. Now coming to Rahu. If you have Rahu in the sign of Pisces in your natal chart, and when Saturn transits over your natal Rahu, it can stir a lot of inner dissatisfaction, especially about your income, your social life, your desires, your fulfillment of desires. It's not that Saturn will completely block your income or your growth, but you may start feeling like this is not enough, no matter how much you earn. That's Rahu's nature. Rahu always wants more and never feels fully satisfied. So Saturn will try to teach you the value of contentment. It will help you understand what is really worth chasing and what is just an illusion. You may start questioning your social circle or feel distance from certain friends. That's because Saturn will slowly show you who your real friends are and who just pretends to be close. Whatever illusions Rahu has created around your friendships, your income, Saturn will clear them out one by one. Now coming to Ketu, if you have Ketu in the sign of Pisces in your natal chart and when Saturn transits over it, its effect will be very different. If you are someone who already lives a simple life, who doesn't chase unnecessary desires and follows a more spiritual or devotional path and simple path, then this combination of Saturn and Ketu can actually bring you good financial gains. But these gains will come in small steps and not in a big movement. This transit can also make you a bit more conscious about spending. In a way, it's a good period to become more disciplined about your finances and savings. So overall, if you stay grounded and keep your desires in check, Saturn transiting over Ketu can actually help you grow financially and spiritually as well. Now coming to Saturn, if you have Saturn in the sign of Pisces in your D1 chart and when Saturn transits over your natal Saturn, this marks a Saturn return for you in your 11th house. This Saturn return is a big change, will bring a big change for you. It brings a period of serious reflection and responsibility. You might feel pressure to grow up, take your goals more seriously and restructure your life, especially in terms of career and finances. You may notice some shifts in your professional life. If you are a student, particularly someone involved in higher studies, this transit can bring challenges, but with consistent effort, it can lead to solid achievements too. You may also be asked to take responsibility of your elder siblings, or be more involved in their life somehow. So please do not run away from your responsibilities, your duties during this transit, or else Saturn may not entertain it. First, I will talk about the general impact of Saturn's transit in the sign of Pisces for your ascendant. After that, I will explain what happens when Saturn transits over different planets placed in Pisces in your chart. So first, listen to the general part because it applies to everyone, whether you have any planet in Pisces or not. Then move on to the part where I explain what Saturn will do when it moves over your natal planet in Pisces. Finally, try to combine both the parts for more complete understanding. But let me be very clear, the final outcome of any transit always depends on your personal chart. So let's begin. Gemini ascendants. For Gemini natives, Saturn is now moving through the sign of Pisces, which falls in your 10th house. During this time, you may start seeing some changes in your career. Things might feel a little heavy or challenging. There could be pressure at work, both mentally and physically. And sometimes you may feel like your efforts aren't being seen properly. It's also possible that you may face some tension with people in higher positions or co-workers. Your work responsibilities might increase during this time and it may feel like too much at times. But I would suggest not to run away from responsibilities. Try not to put your work onto others or avoid your duties. Instead, take things in a calm and positive way and handle your work with a good attitude. Saturn respects hard work and sincerity. If you stay committed and serious about your duties, Saturn will support you in the long run. This period may also bring insults for you at workplace. But try not to take these things at heart. Don't let it shake your confidence. Instead, let it push you to do better. Keep reminding yourself that this is just a phase of learning and growth. And this transit is not permanent. This too shall pass. This period will also slowly change how people see you in your professional life. From mid-May, Jupiter, who rules Pisces, will enter your first house, which means whatever happens in your career will directly affect your personal image or how you come across to others. Sometimes, because of what's happening in your career, you might feel like suddenly quitting your job or making a fast decision about your career. But it's better to wait. Please don't take any impulsive steps during this time. Think carefully before making any big moves. If you really want a change, try to plan it properly and have something solid in place before you take the leap. This transit can also bring new opportunities, especially for those who are currently looking for a job. If you are open to learning and staying patient, you might find something stable and meaningful during this time. Saturn always helps those who work sincerely and stay disciplined. This is also the time when Saturn might push you to improve your current skills or even learn something completely new. It's doing this to help you grow and build a better future. So try not to resist these changes. Just go with the flow in your career, and with time you will see good results. Now, as long as Jupiter is in the sign of Gemini, there is some sort of protective energy helping you. But once Jupiter moves out of Gemini, things might feel a bit more strict. And when the 9th Lord is sitting in the 10th house, it becomes very important to stay ethical into your work. Now let's talk about the aspects of Saturn. Saturn's third aspect will fall in the sign of Taurus, your 12th house. This aspect of Saturn can affect your sleep and also your health. Till Jupiter is in the sign of Taurus, meaning until around May 14, you may feel some protection or ease in this area. But once Jupiter leaves Taurus and enters your ascendant, the effect of Saturn on your 12th house will become more noticeable. But there's also some good news here. Jupiter entering your ascendant can help you deal with health problems, especially if you are ready to take care of yourself properly. And with this transit of Saturn, it's very important to find balance between your work and your personal life. This aspect of Saturn on your 12th house also has a very beautiful side. This can actually help you grow spiritually. Saturn looking at your 12th house and with Jupiter coming into your first house, this combination can bring really good chances for spiritual awakening or deeper spiritual awareness. So if you have been wanting to connect with spirituality, this period can support that journey in a strong and meaningful way. Now the 7th aspect of Saturn will fall on your 4th house, the sign of Virgo. So during this period, your home environment will come under Saturn's direct influence. You might feel some restrictions or face a few challenges at home. There may be a little tension in the family or some emotional distance. Or there may be some construction related work that may come up at your home. So it's really important to handle things wisely with patience at home. Also, please be extra careful about your mother's health during this time. If there's anything going on with her well-being, don't ignore it. During this period, you may even purchase a property or asset. Just be careful in legal documentation work. And just like I said earlier, sitting in your 10th house, looking at your 4th house is actually giving you a message that you need to learn how to balance your personal life and your professional life. Yes, it is difficult to do. You might feel pulled between your work responsibilities and family duties. And that can easily cause frustration. And this frustration, if this frustration isn't handled well, it can convert into anger. That anger might start showing up in how you behave, maybe at work, maybe at your home, and that can affect your relationships in both the places. It might even affect your public image or the way people see you socially. So during this time, It's really important to stay calm and grounded. Try not to let any frustration build up inside you. Keep a peaceful approach and try to take care of both work and home with patience. Now the 10th aspect of Saturn will fall on the sign of Sagittarius, your 7th house. During this period, your career, your work life may start affecting your married life as well. If you are married, then your work responsibilities, pressure, or time spent on your career may start creating some kind of distance or stress in your marital relationship. So you need to handle both carefully. And if you are someone who is unmarried, and if your chart supports it, then this aspect of Saturn can actually bring chances of marriage, especially when Jupiter moves into the sign of Gemini. Now Saturn here will try to bring a shift in your relationship. Its purpose is to help you grow. Not to break anything, but yes, it will test you. It will check if you and your partner are able to stand together during tough times, or if one of you runs away when things get challenging. It will push you and encourage you both to face and heal any deep issues rather than ignoring them. So if you pass this test of Saturn, then this time will make your bond stronger with your partner. But if you are stuck in toxic or painful relationship, this phase may actually help you move out of it. For those of you who are in business, this can be a positive period. Saturn is supporting growth and expansion. You may feel like starting something new or taking your business to the next level. But at the same time, you may have confusion in your decision making. So even though the time is good for new beginnings, it's important not to take impulsive steps. Think carefully before acting. Plan things properly. Don't rush, and especially in business matters, don't blindly trust anyone. And read every document carefully. Double check your plans and move forward only after you feel confident that everything is solid. Now coming to the planets, if you have Sun in the sign of Pisces in your 10th house, and when Saturn transits over your natal Sun, it may challenge your ego in the field of your career. You may feel that you are not getting the respect you deserve, especially because Saturn is also your 8th lord. You may experience situations with higher authorities or your co-workers speak to you in a disrespectful way. But if that happens, you will have to continue working with them calmly and with a smile. Some workplace politics may also rise during this time. You need to be very disciplined in your career during this time, as it is very important for you. If you lose focus or act out of ego, things may not go smoothly. If you stay disciplined, then this transit can also bring growth, good results by the end of this transit in the form of growth. Now coming to Moon, if you have Moon in the sign of Pisces in your D1 chart, and when Saturn transits over your natal Moon, this marks as a peak phase of Sadhisati for you. Since this is happening in your 10th house, the ups and downs will mainly show up in your career. All of this can also impact your family life if not handled with care. Financial crunch may also be felt during this time. Career and family responsibilities should be fulfilled without complaining. And during this phase, please be very careful not to make any impulsive decisions, because Saturn will test you by creating situations where you feel like quitting your job or changing your path out of frustration. And since Saturn is affecting your Moon, your mind, it may push you to take sudden emotional decisions. That's what you need to avoid completely. Coming to Mars, if you have Mars in the sign of Pisces in your 10th house, and when Saturn will transit over your natal Mars, for those who are currently looking for a job or preparing for competitive exams, this transit may bring good opportunities, only if your birth chart supports. You may also see some financial improvement during this time, but only through consistent hard work. And take care of your health during this phase. You might also face some disagreements or misunderstandings with your elder siblings or close friends. And Saturn will slowly start revealing who truly supports you and who doesn't when it comes to your social life. So just keep your mind open and go with the flow. Now coming to Venus, if you have Venus in the sign of Pisces, and when Saturn transits over your natal Venus in your 10th house, then this can be a good time for those who are planning to go abroad if your chart permits. Those whose work is involved in foreign related careers, whether you work in import export, travel, foreign trade, MNCs, or deal with foreign clients or international content or any field related to children, then this transit will support you in these areas. This transit can disturb your sleep and can impact your health. This period will demand you to focus on your children rather than just focusing on your career. So balance is necessary. However, small issues may arise with your children. Also good time to upgrade your skills. This is also a good time for those who are working in creative fields like animation, 3D, VFX, designing, content creation, etc. Now coming to Mercury. If you have Mercury in the sign of Pisces, and when Saturn transits over your natal Mercury, this can make you feel restricted in your career because your ascendant lord is getting involved with your 8th lord here. So health issues should not be ignored. Issues with your mother or family may arise. Balancing work and professional life may become difficult to manage during this time. And by the end of this transit in Pisces, there will be a shift in how people see you. Now coming to Jupiter. If you have Jupiter in the sign of Pisces and when Saturn transits over your natal Jupiter, this will bring a lot of workload for you, which is why you may feel a little less positive or even hopeless at times. However, if your efforts are genuine, then by the end of this transit, you will be rewarded by Saturn. Be very ethical in your karmas. That's a tip I would like to provide you. If you are unmarried, this transit can bring chances of marriage, but only if your chart permits. If you are already married, then this transit may bring some challenges in your relationship. And you and your spouse may go through situations that test your understanding and patience. There can also be a few health issues related to your spouse. So please be careful of that as well. And for those who are into business, this can be a good time to plan something new or take some initiative. Just remember, Saturn supports those who work sincerely and patiently. Now coming to Rahu. If you have Rahu in the sign of Pisces and when Saturn transits over your natal Rahu, it will slowly start removing any illusions you may have been carrying, especially related to your career. So don't resist what Saturn is trying to show you. Accept the lessons and try to grow from them. At the same time, this can be a very positive period for those who are in unconventional fields. If your chart supports it, you may see opportunities or growth in areas where others may not even think to look. Saturn will support you if you are honest, dedicated, and open to change. Now coming to Ketu. If you have Ketu in the sign of Pisces and when Saturn transits over it, it may bring lack of interest in your career or current work, or you may have a feeling of detachment. You might feel confused and think, is this what I really want to do? In such a phase, it's very easy to become lazy or restless, and the desire to quit or change jobs may become strong. But here, I would say that please don't make any sudden or impulsive decisions. Don't leave your job unless you have something solid in hand or a proper backup plan. This period will be supported if you are into technical fields. Saturn wants you to grow, but through patience, discipline and self-awareness. So listen to what your heart is saying, but also balance it with logic and planning. If you stay calm and careful during this time, even these challenges can lead you to better place in your career. Now coming to Saturn itself. If you are Saturn in the sign of Pisces in your D1 chart, and when Saturn transits over your natal Saturn, it will mark as Saturn return for you. A very significant phase in one's life. It may bring deep transformation in your career. Saturn being 8th Lord may bring some ups and downs, some lessons that might feel tough, but they will shape your future. It will slowly change your entire perspective about what success means to you and what kind of work you are meant to do. But if you don't resist, if you face every challenge with honesty and patience, then by the end of this transit, Saturn will settle you and bless you with something lasting and meaningful. This is also a very important test because Saturn is your 9th Lord, the Lord of Dharma, the Lord of your righteousness. And since Rahu will soon enter your 9th house, you may find yourself pulled into two directions. Rahu might tempt you to take shortcuts, to walk the unethical path that looks easy. But Saturn, on the other hand, will quietly test you to see if you stay true to your values or if you given to the temptation of Rahu. So the key here is simple. Choose the right path, even if it's slow, even if it's hard, because Saturn always rewards those who stay honest, patient and dedicated. First, I will talk about the general impact of Saturn's transit in the sign of Pisces for your ascendant. After that, I will explain what happens when Saturn transits over different planets placed in Pisces in your chart. So first, listen to the general part because it applies to everyone, whether you have any planet in Pisces or not. Then move on to the part where I explain what Saturn will do when it moves over your natal planet in Pisces. Finally, try to combine both the parts for more complete understanding. But let me be very clear, the final outcome of any transit always depends on your personal chart. So let's begin. Cancer ascendants. For Cancer natives, Saturn entered your 9th house, the sign of Pisces. This means that this time will push you to work hard. Saturn won't give easy results. Only when you give full effort and stay consistent, then things will start working in your favor. Luck won't support you just like that. It will support you only when you are sincere and honest in your actions. One important thing here is that you must stay on the right path. No shortcuts, no wrongdoings or no unethical ways. If your intentions are pure and your efforts are honest, Saturn will definitely help you grow in a positive manner. Spiritually, this is a very beautiful time because Saturn is in your 9th house. And soon Jupiter will move into your 12th house. This is a lovely combination for spiritual growth. You might feel more connected to God or feel like doing a spiritual ritual at home. You might also want to spend quite time alone or start praying more regularly. This is also a good time if you want to study something deep like higher studies or any kind of wisdom related subject. But again, hard work is a must. Nothing will come easily, but yes, with effort, good results can come. During this period, if you travel, especially long distance or spiritual journeys, you might face a few small challenges. So just stay a little careful while planning or during the trip. There's also a chance you may visit some religious or spiritual places with your family or your partner. One more thing to be mindful of is your father's health. This time may bring some health concerns related to him, so please take care and keep checking on him. Or also some misunderstandings or distance may happen between you and your father or even with a teacher or guru. But the beautiful part is you might also meet a spiritual guide or guru during this time who can help you on a spiritual journey. Now coming to the aspects of Saturn. Saturn's third aspect will fall in the sign of Taurus, your 11th house. This may bring some tightness or restrictions when it comes to money or income, especially once Jupiter leaves your 11th house and moves into Gemini. And you might notice that your expenses start increasing. Because of that, you may feel like money is not flowing easily, or you might feel a little pressure in managing finances. But don't worry too much. Saturn is not here to punish you. It just wants you to be careful and responsible. If your goals and dreams are honest, and if you are working with pure intentions, then Saturn will actually support you. It will slowly bring growth and rewards. But if your wishes or plans are based on selfish reasons or shortcuts, then Saturn may create blockages or delays. This aspect may also bring some ups and downs in your relationship with elder siblings or in your friend circle. There could be misunderstandings, or you may feel a bit distant from them. But this time will also push you to fix any old issues, especially with elder siblings. Saturn wants you to heal and make things better. And one more thing, during this time, Saturn will also help you understand who truly cares about you and who doesn't. It will try to show you who are your real friends, who are your real well-wishers, and who might just be around for their own benefit. Now coming to the 7th aspect of Saturn, it will fall on your 3rd house, the sign of Virgo. Because of this, you might face some challenges in your relationship with your younger siblings. There could be small misunderstandings or emotional distance. But Saturn always comes with a lesson. Through this aspect, Saturn wants to teach you what your true desires should be. Not just temporary wishes, but real meaningful goals in life. It will make you think, what do I really want? What and why do I want? This is also a time when Saturn will make you more thoughtful. If you are thinking about starting something new, like a new project, a plan, or any kind of fresh beginning, Saturn will support you, but in its own way. It will make sure you take your time, think deeply, and learn from past mistakes before jumping into anything. If you rush without thinking, then Saturn might give you a small lesson or setback, just to slow you down and make you more careful. Also during this time, you may face small troubles while traveling, whether short trips or longer ones. So just be prepared and stay calm if anything comes up. Now the 10th aspect of Saturn will fall on the sign of Sagittarius, your 6th house, which means it can bring a little slowdown or a struggle in your daily or day-to-day life. You might feel like things are moving slowly, or your routine gets a bit messed up. So it's really important during this time to stay active, avoid laziness, and keep working hard. Saturn always rewards those who stay consistent and disciplined. If you keep putting in effort, you will definitely see good results, slowly but surely. This time might also bring some health issues. If there's any hidden problem going on in your body, Saturn might bring it out so you can take care of it. So just be careful with your health and don't ignore any signs. Apart from that, Saturn may also bring forward any enemies or competitors. If someone has been working against you or behind the scenes, now they may show up clearly. But don't worry, this same Saturn will also give you the strength to face them and guide you to handle all this wisely. You will learn how to deal with these challenges through your own experiences. Saturn teaches slowly, step by step, but whatever it teaches, it stays for life. If you are dealing with any legal case, or if you have loans or debts, then this period may begin a process where you start finding ways to come out of it. The solution may not come instantly, but Saturn will start showing the path. Of course, it entirely depends on your personal birth chart too. Now coming to the planets, if you have Sun in the sign of Pisces in your 9th house, and when Saturn transits over your natal sun, then this time can bring a little more struggle or disputes or separation, especially with your father and also within the family. Your father's health or any health issues in family should not be ignored during this time. Be alert and take care of your loved ones. Also during this phase, luck may not support you so easily and things might feel a little slow or stuck, especially when Saturn moves directly, exactly over your sun. This can also lead to some ego-related clashes with your spouse or partner. So try to stay calm and don't react too quickly if small arguments happen. Just be patient and things will slowly get better with time. Now coming to moon. If you have moon in the sign of Pisces, and when Saturn transits over your natal moon in the ninth house, it will mark as the second phase or the peak phase of your Sadesati. For more details on Sadesati, you can watch my video on Sadesati. The link is in the description box below. Now when Saturn moves over your moon, your ascendant lord, this can bring some emotional and physical challenges. Health-wise, you need to be very careful. Saturn being 8th lord transiting over your ascendant lord in the 9th house, it becomes very important to walk the path of dharma and avoid unethical ways in life. Now coming to Mars, if you have Mars in the sign of Pisces and when Saturn transits over your natal Mars, it will teach you how to be a better parent, what is necessary and what is not for upbringing of your child, and take care of your children's health. And this period can also bring some issues with them as well as with your colleagues in your job. Accidental injuries to father may also happen during this time. Also, although this is a great time to learn something new or upgrade your skills. Now coming to Venus, if you have Venus in the sign of Pisces in your 9th house and when Saturn transits over your natal Venus, it could bring a little financial pressure. Saturn may test you here. He will try to teach you how to manage your money wisely. But if you have been walking the right path with honesty and good intentions, then this same Saturn will bless you with good financial gains. This can be a good time when you might buy a new property or asset and take care of your mother's health as well. Now coming to Mercury, if you have Mercury in the sign of Pisces and when Saturn transits over your natal Mercury in your 9th house, then during this time, if you are planning to initiate something new, then make sure it is well thought out and planned before moving further without rushing to any decisions, or else it may have negative impacts. Keep your desires under control. However, a good period for spirituality. Now coming to Jupiter, if you have Jupiter in the sign of Pisces in the 9th house and when Saturn transits over in natal Jupiter, then this time may bring major events in your life. However, it will entirely depend on your past karmas and your personal birth chart. So try to be humble and keep an attitude of servitude and help the needy. Some health-related troubles or little struggles in daily life may arise. Now coming to Rahu, if you have Rahu in the sign of Pisces and when Saturn moves over your natal Rahu in your 9th house, this can go into two different directions depending on the kind of life you are living. On a positive side, if the rest of your chart is going strong and you are following the path of truth and spirituality, then this combination of Saturn transiting over Rahu can actually make you even more spiritual. But if you are not on the right path, if your actions so far have been unethical, if you have been doing things that are not honest or right, then Saturn will not support that. Rahu in the 9th house sometimes makes people take shortcuts or choose wrong path. But when Saturn comes there, it will say no more to that. Now coming to Ketu, if you have Ketu in the sign of Pisces in your 9th house and when Saturn moves over your natal Ketu, then this is actually one of the most beautiful combinations for spiritual growth. If you are already walking the spiritual path, then your luck will open up beautifully. Saturn will fully support you and give you deep growth from within. But if you are not aligned with true spirituality, or if you are ignoring that part of life, then this time might feel like your luck isn't working easily. Also, during this period, you need to be very careful about your father's health. There might be some tension or issues with them, so just be present, loving and cautious in that area. Now, if you have Saturn in the sign of Pisces in your 9th house, and when Saturn transits over your natal Saturn, it marks as Saturn return for you. This period can bring some ups and downs in your life, including married life. Luck might feel slow and things might not go smoothly as you desire. Issues in married life may pop up, so try to genuinely deal with those issues. Face them and do not run away from your responsibilities in your married life. Then Saturn will bless you with good, stronger bond in your married life by the end of this transit. Or else, if you run away from married life issues or responsibilities, then Saturn may not entertain such actions. First, I will talk about the general impact of Saturn's transit in the sign of Pisces for your ascendant. After that, I will explain what happens when Saturn transits over different planets placed in Pisces in your chart. So first, listen to the general part because it applies to everyone, whether you have any planet in Pisces or not. Then move on to the part where I explain what Saturn will do when it moves over your natal planet in Pisces. Finally, try to combine both the parts for more complete understanding. But let me be very clear, the final outcome of any transit always depends on your personal chart. So let's begin. Leo ascendants. For Leo natives, Saturn entered the sign of Pisces in your 8th house. This time may bring sudden ups and downs, transformation, challenges and health concerns for you. If you already have any health issues or chronic conditions, then please take extra care of yourself during this period. Also, since Ketu will soon be entering your ascendant, your 1st house, this may make you feel low in energy or lazy. So try to stay active and avoid laziness as much as possible. But on a very positive side, this is a very strong time for spirituality. If you are already walking the spiritual path, Saturn will help you go deeper into it and take you to the next level of your inner journey. This time is very good for doing things like meditation, puja, healing practices, or spending time with your inner self. Now, since Saturn is in the 8th house, it can bring sudden ups and downs, especially for those who invest in speculative fields or speculative markets. It's better to be very careful and avoid high-risk investments. If you do want to invest, then invest in long-term and safer options. Avoid quick money ideas during this phase. This is also a time when you might face some misunderstandings or responsibilities related to your in-laws. Saturn is your 6th lord and 7th lord. So you might also see a few ups and downs in your married life. If you are in a toxic relationship or something that's no longer working, this transit may help you slowly move out of it in a way that teaches you a lesson too. Yes, life may bring some ups and downs, but Saturn in the 8th house will also become your guide. It will teach you a lot about life, health, patience, and handling things calmly. Basically, it will transform you from the inside out. This is one of the best time to learn deep subjects like astrology, occult, mysticism, or even to do deep research. It's also good for those studying archaeology or anything related to ancient knowledge. people working in the insurance sector, healing professions, or those who are doctors, especially pediatricians, gynecologists, or those who deal with digestive or urinary issues will also benefit from this energy. If you are running a business, this can also be a time when you can get new and interesting ideas. But don't jump into anything too quickly. Think carefully, do proper research, and plan everything with patience. Saturn wants you to take slow but wise steps, and if you do that, your business can grow nicely, even if it feels slow in the beginning. Overall, this is a time for deep learning, spiritual growth, and inner transformation. It may not be easy all the time, but it will surely be meaningful. Let Saturn be your teacher and just stay open to learning from every experience. Now coming to the aspects of Saturn, Saturn's third aspect will fall on the sign of Taurus, your 10th house. Since this is the third aspect of Saturn, which is known as the aspect of purification, Saturn will try to cleanse this area in your life. It may show you the real picture, the hidden problems, the ignored issue, or the things you were not facing till now in your career. It's like Saturn is saying, look, these are the issues, now deal with it with maturity and patience. And if you honestly face these challenges and stay on the right path, then Saturn will slowly reward you by the time its transit in Pisces ends. Of course, Saturn aspecting your 10th house will increase your workload. You may start feeling pressure or burden at work. And because of that, managing your personal life and professional life together might become tough. This imbalance could also affect your health or bring some stress into your family life. And one more very important piece of advice for Leo natives, please avoid taking any major career decisions out of anger or frustration. This aspect of Saturn can test your patience and make you feel irritated or stuck in your job. Don't take impulsive steps like quitting your job suddenly, especially without proper backup or without thinking everything through. Yes, Saturn's aspect can also bring positive changes. It might even bring positive changes in your career. For those looking for employment, this period may bring positive results, but not without hard work. Now talking about the 7th aspect of Saturn, it will fall on the sign of Virgo, your 2nd house. And when Saturn aspects your 2nd house, it brings both responsibilities and challenges related to these areas. So you might feel that because of the pressure or stress from your career, you are not able to give enough time to your family. And this imbalance can lead to tensions at home or miscommunication or harsh communication with your loved ones. So try to be calm, patient, and to act wisely in your interactions with your family. Someone in your family might also go through some health concerns. To take care of your close one and be there for them. And you need to be very careful with your health, especially with issues related to your eyes, teeth, or throat. Saturn doesn't support any easy money or unethical ways of earning. So if someone is using shortcuts or unfair means of money, then Saturn's 7th aspect will not support that. It can even lead to financial difficulties. So always make sure you are walking the honest path when it comes to your finances. Another important point here that Saturn is watching your 2nd house and soon Ketu will be entering your ascendant. So it's important for you to stay hydrated. Saturn tends to dry things up. It shrinks the water in the body, so dehydration related issues may increase. Simple things like drinking enough water can help you feel more balanced during this transit. So overall, Saturn can ask you to be honest, to stay calm in your family life, to take care of your health and walk the straight path when it comes to money matters. Now coming to the 10th aspect of Saturn, Saturn's 10th aspect will fall on your 5th house, the sign of Sagittarius, and soon Jupiter will also enter the sign of Gemini, directly aspecting Sagittarius, which is its own sign. So with both Saturn and Jupiter casting their aspect on Sagittarius, this will bring some major changes in matters related to your 5th house. Now some of these changes will be visible and noticeable, while others might work more subtly in the background. It's also a great period for upgrading your skills, and even for those who want to get into mantra chanting or spiritual practices. For students, this is actually one of the best times to put in hard work. If you do that, then in the long run you will see positive results. If you are trying to conceive or are dealing with matters related to children, this period could bring positive results, but not without hurdles or challenges. But the combined influence of Saturn and Jupiter can also help you overcome these challenges. Just take care of your health during pregnancy and your children's health as well. Now coming to the planets, if your sun placed in the sign of Pisces in your 8th house, and when Saturn transits over your sun, then this period is going to be quite challenging for you. There can be lots of ups and downs for you, especially related to your health, because Saturn is your ascendant lord. Also, since Ketu will soon enter your 1st house, you need to be very, very, very cautious when it comes to your physical, mental well-being. This can also create friction in your married life. There might be ego clashes or disputes with your in-laws. But on a positive note, this transit will enhance your spiritual journey. It's also a very good time for learning something new, especially something connected to hidden knowledge or self-growth. Coming to moon, if your moon is the sign of Pisces, and when Saturn transits over it, it marks as a peak phase of Sadhisati for you. Since moon is your 12th lord in the 8th house and Saturn transiting over it, you need to be extra cautious of your health. This period may bring emotional sensitivity, anxiety, mental restlessness and sleep issues. The key here is to stay calm, avoid impulsive decisions and go with the flow. Saturn transiting over moon can also increase your expenses. However, on a positive note, this transit can deeply enhance your spiritual growth. This transit is a very positive period for evolved souls. This transit can open doors for foreign travel if your chart permits. Now coming to Mars, if you have Mars in the sign of Pisces in your 8th house, and when Saturn transits over your natal Mars, this can create issues or bring ups and downs at your home. You may be able to purchase a property or asset during this time, but expect some hurdles in the process. Your luck may feel a bit blocked or slow moving, but don't worry, with consistent efforts you will push through. Spiritual journeys may be on the cards, but they could come with some obstacles. Also be attentive towards your father's health during this time. Coming to Venus, if you have Venus in the sign of Pisces, and when Saturn transits over your natal Venus in your 8th house, then it may bring some challenges in your career. You may have to face some insults at workplace. This can also bring issues with younger siblings. So try to keep calm and patience in every situation is necessary. Coming to Mercury, if you have Mercury in the sign of Pisces, and when Saturn transits over your Mercury, then this can bring sudden gains for you if your chart permits. There can be inheritance of property as well, if your chart permits. But if you have been relying on any shortcut methods or unethical means to earn money, then Saturn's transit will not favor that. There can be an increase in your responsibilities within the family as well. Now coming to Jupiter, if you have Jupiter in the sign of Pisces in your 8th house, and when Saturn transits over your natal Jupiter, this creates confusion in your decision making and even makes you feel a lack of hope at times. Although good period for new deep learnings or doing research work. This period may even provide sudden gains or sudden losses depending on your chart. Children's health should not be ignored. Saturn transiting over your 8th lord may also trigger some health issues to you as well. So make sure you are taking care of yourself, especially your eating habits. Now coming to Rahu, if you have Rahu in the sign of Pisces in the 8th house, And when Saturn transits over your Rahu, it's also good time for deep inner transformation and for learning hidden sciences like astrology, occult, mysticism, healing, etc. However, this transit can also create some challenges in marriage. There can be tensions with in-laws as well. Now coming to Ketu, if you have Ketu placed in the sign of Pisces and Saturn transits over your Ketu, then this becomes a very spiritually charged time for you. A beautiful period for deep learning, particularly in the field of spirituality, astrology, healing, and even technical fields. Here, if you are willing to learn, Saturn will bless you. But yes, again, health issues may surface because a malefic is transiting over a malefic. So be careful. And also because Ketu will soon enter your first house. So increasing the chance of feeling detached or physically drained is possible. So take extra care of your physical and mental well-being. Now coming to Saturn itself, if you have Saturn in the sign of Pisces and when Saturn transits over your natal Saturn, it marks as Saturn return for you. If you have been stuck in toxic relationship or pattern, then this is the time when Saturn may help you finally come out of it. This transit may bring ups and downs in life, bring many lessons as well. Again, health issues should not be ignored, and for those waiting a judgment or result from legal matter, this Saturn return may give you clarity or closure by the end of this transit, but only if you have been walking the path of Dharma. Though do expect some mental pressure and anxiety during this time. Again, especially in matters of relationship and marriage as well. First, I will talk about the general impact of Saturn's transit in the sign of Pisces for your ascendant. After that, I will explain what happens when Saturn transits over different planets placed in Pisces in your chart. So first, listen to the general part because it applies to everyone, whether you have any planet in Pisces or not. Then move on to the part where I explain what Saturn will do when it moves over your natal planet in Pisces. Finally, try to combine both the parts for more complete understanding. But let me be very clear, the final outcome of any transit always depends on your personal chart. So let's begin. Virgo ascendants. For Virgo natives, Saturn enters the sign of Pisces, which is your 7th house. Saturn is the lord of your 5th and 6th house, and when it moves into your 7th house, it can bring some challenges and tensions in your relationships. Saturn usually tests things, so during this time, your relationship, especially your marriage or committed business partnerships, might go through some ups and downs. If there have been any hidden issues in your relationship, Saturn will slowly bring those issues up so that you can deal with them properly. Because Saturn also rules your 6th house, which is connected to disputes, some arguments or misunderstandings can happen in your married life. This can also bring responsibilities in marriage, which can create frustration for some people. That's why it's very important during this time to stay calm and respectful with your partner. Try to understand each other and don't react with anger. If someone is already in a toxic or stressful relationship, Saturn will show you the truth and push you to either fix things or walk away if it's not healthy for you. There's also a possibility that your spouse might face some health related issues, so you might have to take care of them or support them more during this time. Sometimes Saturn in the 7th house can make relationship feel a bit dry or distant. For people who are into business or planning to start something new, especially in fields like law, medicine, healing, auditing, then this can be a good period. But because it's Saturn transiting your 7th house, you might face some challenges at first. Still, if you stay committed and do the right thing, Saturn will support your efforts. If your work involves talking to the public or you are in a field that needs communication with others, then just be careful with your tone. Saturn might make your speech a bit serious or harsh. So try to be humble and respectful in your speech. The way you talk will affect your overall image during this time. So overall, this transit is about becoming more responsible in relationships and learning how to deal with things maturely and calmly. Now coming to the aspects of Saturn, Saturn's third aspect will fall on the sign of Taurus, your 9th house. When Saturn aspects this house, it means you will have to work harder than usual to make your luck work in your favor. You might feel like your efforts are not giving instant results or that your luck is blocked. But Saturn is simply asking you to be more serious, more patient and more hardworking. Things will move forward, but with steady effort and no without any shortcuts. This is also a good time if you are planning to study more or go for higher education, but at the same time, some challenges may come with father figures or teachers. You might not agree with them on certain things, or there may be some distance or misunderstandings. Also, your father's health may need attention, so do keep a check on that. Spiritually, this is actually a beautiful time. Saturn's third aspect is known for purification. It pushes you to clean up the areas it looks at. So in the 9th house, it will help you grow stronger in your beliefs and become more sincere in your spiritual path. What adds to this is that Ketu will soon move into your 12th house, which is a house of detachment, meditation and also spiritual growth. It's a strong support for people who want to go deeper into spiritual practices. Now, coming to the 7th aspect of Saturn, the Saturn's 7th aspect will fall on your first house, the sign of Virgo. This is a very important aspect because Saturn is directly looking at your ascendant. This means your health, your personality and overall energy will go through a transformation. Also, Rahu will enter your 6th house and Ketu your 12th house. These three planets together may impact your health. So, you really need to take care of your well-being and lifestyle. This is also a good time to work on your habits, whether it's your food, sleep or routine life. Saturn wants you to bring balance, and believe it or not, this is a great time if you want to lose weight or become healthier. One thing to keep in mind here is that when Saturn aspects the first house, many people tend to reduce their water intake without realizing it. So please remember to drink enough water. Saturn's aspect on first house is also a great sign for spiritual growth. Over time, this aspect will change you, not just how you look, not just your personality, but also how you think and who you are as a person. So yes, there may be challenges, but if you use this time wisely, then by the end of Saturn's journey in the sign of Pisces, you will come out as a much stronger and wiser version of yourself. Now the 10th aspect of Saturn will fall on your 4th house, the sign of Sagittarius. And like I mentioned earlier, Jupiter will also be aspecting your 4th house when it transits the sign of Gemini and until it is present in the sign of Gemini. So when both these planets look at the same house, it means that part of your life is definitely going to go through some major changes by the end of this transit. So you may start noticing that your home, emotional comfort, peace of mind, your mother, all these areas have come into focus. Saturn's aspect may also bring up certain health concerns related to your mother. So please be there for her and try to spend time with her if possible. This is also a time when any issues related to property or your home environment, like house repairs, renovations, or even legal matters related to assets may come up. Saturn will push these things to the surface, not to trouble you, but so that you can face and fix them properly. If you are planning to buy property or any asset during this time, it can be a good time, but make sure all the paperwork and legal procedures are done carefully and properly. Because Saturn is also your 6th lord, and anything missed can later become a cause for disputes or stress. Emotionally too, you may feel a bit dry or restricted during this time. Like there's a lack of happiness or emotional satisfaction in your daily life. But Jupiter's aspect here will help you a lot. Jupiter brings hope, positivity and support. So even if things feel heavy at times, you will find emotional support or motivation to keep going. Now coming to the planetary positions. If you have Sun in the sign of Pisces in your 7th house, and when Saturn transits over your natal Sun, then get ready for challenges in your married life. This can also bring ego issues with your spouse. Your speech towards your spouse may become more harsher. So try to be respectful, humble in your conversation with your spouse. Don't be too much dominating. You may have to take on more responsibility in your marriage or of your partner. Your partner's health could be impacted. On the other hand, this is also the time when you might go on a foreign trip or take some kind of journey with your spouse. Business needs to be careful during this time. Businesses needs to be careful during this time. Hard work will be needed. Now, if you have Moon placed in the sign of Pisces in your 7th house, and when Saturn transits over your Moon, this will be the peak phase of your Sadesati. This can be an emotionally intense time, and your mind might feel a little heavy when it comes to fulfillment of desires. You might feel frustrated or restricted in financial matters, and keep your desires to the minimum as much as possible. Issues with younger siblings may also arise. Now coming to Mars. If you have Mars placed in the sign of Pisces in your 7th house, and when Saturn transits over your natal Mars, then you need to be extra careful while investing money in things like speculative markets. Saturn doesn't support impulsive decisions. So whether it's about marriage or business, try not to rush into anything. Think twice before committing to something big. In marriage, this Mars-Saturn combo can bring some ups and downs or small fights, especially if both partners are being too stubborn. Now coming to Venus. If you have Venus placed in the sign of Pisces in your 7th house, and when Saturn transits over it, then this period can make you feel like your financial flow is little tight. Also, some family responsibilities might also increase during this time. Now coming to Mercury. If you have Mercury in the sign of Pisces in the 7th house, and when Saturn transits over it, then this transit can bring some health concerns. Not just for you, but also for your spouse. This can also bring some challenges in your career as well. But Saturn will also bring new opportunities your way. Now, if you have Jupiter in the sign of Pisces in your 7th house, and when Saturn is transiting over your natal Jupiter, then this is quite an important phase. If you are unmarried, then this period might bring chances of marriage your way if your chart permits. If you are thinking about starting a business, then yes, it's a good time, but don't expect instant results. Progress will be slow and gradual. And take good care of your mother's health during this time. Also, if you are stuck in toxic relationship, then Saturn's transit over your Jupiter can help you come out of it. Now coming to Rahu. If you have Rahu in the sign of Pisces in your 7th house, and when Saturn transits over your natal Rahu, then this can be an intense combination for you. It can bring many issues in your marriage. Saturn will try to break any illusion Rahu has created in your 7th house. This combination can also bring new relationships or even love affairs into your life if your chart permits. If you are into business or partnerships, then you will need to be very careful, especially about cheating or fraud. Now coming to Ketu. if your Ketu in Pisces in your 7th house and Saturn is transiting over your Ketu, and if this combination is going positive in your chart, then Saturn and Ketu together can create very deep soul to soul connection with your partner. But if this goes negative in your personal chart, then it may bring some distance, either in marriage or in love. And there might be emotional distance or some coldness between you and your partner, although it entirely depends on your personal chart. For businesses, misunderstandings or breakups in business partnerships are possible during this period. Be very careful in your communication and paperwork, and try to keep everything honest and transparent. Coming to Saturn itself, if you have Saturn in the sign of Pisces in your 7th house, and when Saturn is transiting over your natal Saturn, then this is called as Saturn return, or just marks as Saturn return for you. An important phase in your one's life. It brings a lot of lessons but also growth if you walk on the right path. There might be some hurdles or challenges in your relationships. This could be your marriage, your love relationships, or your business as well. So the only key here is to fulfill your responsibilities without complaining and go with the flow. Although good time to start a business in fields related to law, auditing, healing, and such similar fields. First, I will talk about the general impact of Saturn's transit in the sign of Pisces for your ascendant. After that, I will explain what happens when Saturn transits over different planets placed in Pisces in your chart. So first, listen to the general part because it applies to everyone, whether you have any planet in Pisces or not. Then move on to the part where I explain what Saturn will do when it moves over your natal planet in Pisces. Finally, try to combine both the parts for more complete understanding. But let me be very clear, the final outcome of any transit always depends on your personal chart. So let's begin. For Libra natives, Saturn entered the sign of Pisces, your 6th house. Saturn also rules your 4th and 5th house. And when Saturn transits the 6th house, it brings certain problems to the surface. These can be enemies, health issues, or people who compete with you. But the purpose of this is not to trouble you. It's to make you aware so that you can face things and learn to grow through them. So the same Saturn who brings the challenges will also give you the strength to deal with them. Slowly, you will be able to overcome these things. Through this process, Saturn is trying to teach you something important about life. That's why it's better not to avoid any problem or run away from anything. Face what's coming your way with patience. In the end, at the end of this transit, it will help you become a better, wiser person. You may even find yourself doing some sort of social work during this phase. This is what you should actually do, helping the needy. If you are preparing for any competitive exam or challenge, and if you have truly worked hard without taking any shortcuts, then this time can support your success. At the same time, this transit might make you feel slow or lazy in your daily life. You might feel like your routine is no longer simple or smooth like before. That's why it's important to stay disciplined. Try to eat on time, wake up early, get some regular exercise, finish your work, and sleep on time. Also, because Saturn rules your 5th house and it's sitting in your 6th, and Rahu is entering your 5th house, and you may need to pay attention to your children's health as well. There could also be small misunderstandings or disagreements with them as well. So just be a little more mindful in this area too. You may also face issues or disputes with your maternal family if your chart indicates. Now coming to the aspects of Saturn, Saturn's 3rd aspect will fall on the sign of Taurus, your 8th house. This shows that you should not ignore your health at all during this time, because Saturn is positioned in 6th house and also aspecting 8th house. And it will also aspect your 12th house. So health should not be ignored at any cost. Apart from that, Saturn being 5th lord and position in 6000, Rahu will soon transit your 5th house. It's better to stay very careful if you are planning any kind of speculative investments. Make sure to think things through wisely before taking risk. But this time can actually be good for people who are in professions like healing, research work, law, auditing, or similar fields. The third aspect of Saturn on your 8th house can also bring some small issues or misunderstandings with your in-laws. If you are someone interested in deep subjects like astrology, mysticism, or occult studies, this is a great time to go deeper into such topics. It's also a helpful time for those working in the insurance sector or those who are interested in spiritual growth, and also in ancient studies like archaeology or deep research work. Now coming to Saturn's 7th aspect. This aspect of Saturn will fall on your 12th house, the sign of Virgo. This is actually a beautiful time for spiritual growth. It's also a good time for those working in health related fields or social work. However, Saturn's influence on your 12th house can cause some sleep troubles. And because Saturn is also positioned in your 6th house and aspecting your 8th house as well, so sleep issues could affect your overall health as well. So it's very important to take care of your health, take enough rest, and take care of your routine life as well. If you have any bad habit like drinking alcohol, smoking, etc., then Saturn may not support such bad habits. In fact, it might bring more health problems if such habit continues. Now, Saturn's 10th aspect will fall on the sign of Sagittarius, your 3rd house. Jupiter will also be looking at this house when it enters the sign of Gemini and until it is present in Gemini. So at one side, you might feel like you don't have the courage or motivation to start something new. But the positive aspect of Jupiter will give you that extra push and hope to keep going. Your younger siblings might also play a very helpful role during this time, giving you encouragement when you need it the most. This period can bring some changes in your relationship with your siblings too. It could be good or not, depends on your personal chart. There could also be misunderstandings or arguments with neighbors as well. So it's best to stay calm and avoid unnecessary conflicts. Try to handle things peacefully. Now coming to the planets. If you have Sun in the sign of Pisces in your 6th house, and when Saturn transits over your natal Sun, then it can bring some disputes or issues with friends or siblings. Saturn doesn't support ego, so this is also a time to be grounded and humble, or else it may turn into some bigger issues. But on the brighter side, if your chart supports, if you are working in government or public sector job, this transit can also bring career growth or promotion. There can be gain of government job as well if your chart permits, or if you are looking for or working for government exams. Now coming to Moon. If you have Moon in the sign of Pisces, and when Saturn moves over your Moon in the 6th house, this marks as peak phase of your Sadesati. You might feel pressure in your career. You may also have to face issues with your co-workers and even your seniors. Health should not be ignored at all. Your sleep might also get disturbed because of this. So it's really important to stay calm, not panic, and just focus on doing your best with a peaceful mindset. Just don't avoid challenges. Face them with courage, and Saturn will help you overcome them. Now coming to Mars. If you have Mars in the sign of Pisces in your 6th house, and when Saturn transits over it, then this is a time to keep your tone and actions soft and respectful, especially with your spouse, your family members. You might even feel financial restrictions. Health should be taken seriously, not just your own, but also your family as well. And be disciplined. in your diet. Avoid unhealthy foods. If you are into business, then this transit tells you to move forward with full patience and avoid getting into unnecessary arguments or taking any impulsive steps. Now, if you have Venus in the sign of Pisces, and when Saturn transits over your natal Venus in the 6th house, then you need to be extra careful when it comes to your health. This is really important because Venus is your ascendant lord. This can make you lazy in your routine life. So try to be active and disciplined in your daily life. Ups and downs should be expected in life. Saturn will teach you many things during this transit and change you to a better person. So do not run away from responsibilities. Do not run away from anything, any change. And learn what Saturn wants to teach you. Go with the flow. And if you are working in healing industry, then this period can be supportive for you. Now coming to Mercury. If you have Mercury in the sign of Pisces in your 6th house, and when Saturn transits over your Mercury, it can disturb your sleep a lot and also your overall health as well. Saturn may bring forth some of your fears as well. But Saturn is doing this so that you take full responsibility and put an effort. Only through consistent hard work and facing your fears and competitors, your luck will open up. And if you are in technical field or in professions like auditing, this can be a good time for growth. Now coming to Jupiter. If you have Jupiter in the sign of Pisces in the 6th house, and when Saturn transits over your natal Jupiter, then this is a time when you may be asked to take responsibility of your younger siblings, and it can even create disputes with them. This is also a good time if you are thinking of adopting a child or even adopting a pet as well. Serving others, especially elders, animals, or anyone in need will bring really good results in this period. If you ever get a chance to help someone, don't hesitate. Coming to Rahu. If you have Rahu in the sign of Pisces in your 6th house, and when Saturn transits over your natal Rahu, this can bring many challenges for you, especially when it comes to your enemies. Your competitors are people who may not wish well for you. You will overcome these situations if you stay strong and deal with these things. You also need to be very careful about your health during this time. Rahu in the 6th house is already a malefic planet, and when Saturn also comes here, it may create more health issues. Coming to Ketu. If you have Ketu in the sign of Pisces in your 6th house, and when Saturn transits over your natal Ketu, then again your health should not be ignored. Health would need attention. You may feel very tired, low on energy, and even frustrated with your daily routine life, procrastinating your daily chores. You might not feel like doing anything, just lying around and avoiding work or responsibilities. But it's important not to let this feeling take over. Coming to Saturn itself. If you have Saturn in the sign of Pisces in the 6th house, and when Saturn transits over your natal Saturn, this marks as Saturn return for you. You will need to be very careful about your health and about the health of your family, especially your mother and children. You may feel the weight of responsibilities very strongly during this time. Home life might feel a little tense at times, but stay calm. Saturn wants you to face your past karmas, your prarabdha, and fulfill your duties with honesty and patience. If you have taken any kind of loan related to home or property, then this Saturn return may also bring chances to repay it or clear off that debt by the end of this transit. First, I will talk about the general impact of Saturn's transit in the sign of Pisces for your ascendant. After that, I will explain what happens when Saturn transits over different planets placed in Pisces in your chart. So first, listen to the general part because it applies to everyone, whether you have any planet in Pisces or not. Then move on to the part where I explain what Saturn will do when it moves over your natal planet in Pisces. Finally, try to combine both the parts for more complete understanding. But let me be very clear, the final outcome of any transit always depends on your personal chart. So let's begin. Scorpio Ascendants. For Scorpio native, Saturn will be moving into your 5th house, which is a sign of Pisces. Now with Saturn entering your 5th house, it will bring in new responsibilities. If you are a student, Saturn is going to ask for serious hard work. And if you have been avoiding studies or ignoring your learning, Saturn may push you to get back to it. Even if you are not a student but working professionally or working professional, you have been avoiding learning new skills or upgrading yourself, Saturn make sure that you do that. It may feel like a push, but this push is going to help you in the long run. If you are married or already have children, then Saturn will bring some responsibilities related to your kids. You may need to give them some more time and attention. Maybe they are not focusing well on studies, or you feel the need to guide them more. Basically, your focus may shift more towards your children. If you are planning for a child, then Saturn's presence here can also bring possibility of conception. But do keep in mind, this process may come with few delays and challenges. If you are expecting or planning a pregnancy, please take good care of your health during this period. On a positive note, this is a great time to learn something new. Saturn will support serious efforts in learning, whether it's academic, a skill, or something spiritual. If you have been thinking about doing mantra chanting or meditation, this is a good time to start. Yes, Saturn might make you feel a bit lazy in doing these things, but once you start, it will be very beneficial for you. It is also a good time for people working in education, children related fields, or even healing professions like pediatrics or veterinary sciences. Those who work with animals, especially young ones, may also experience some growth or recognition. Another thing to be mindful is how you handle your money, especially when it comes to your investments. Saturn in your 5th house will make you think deeply about where and how you are spending or investing. So if you are involved in speculative markets like stocks or crypto, just be extra wise and cautious. Investing in long-term and less risky assets will be more beneficial. Lastly, this transit may also bring romantic opportunities in your life if you are unmarried. Now coming to the aspect of Saturn. Saturn's 3rd aspect will fall on your 7th house, the sign of Taurus. Now this aspect can actually bring chances of new romantic relationships or even marriage opportunities, especially if your personal chart supports. If you are already married, then Saturn might bring some responsibilities or issue in your married life that you will need to pay attention to. Communication is going to be really important here. If you stay calm and speak openly with your partner, it will help keep your relationship strong and healthy. For people who are running business, this aspect may bring some changes or fluctuations. So it's better to think carefully before making any major decisions in business or even in relationships and marriage. Avoid making any impulsive moves. Take your time to review everything thoroughly before acting. Now the 7th aspect of Saturn will fall on the sign of Virgo, your 11th house. Now this can bring a sense of restriction in your income. That doesn't always mean you will earn less, but you might feel financial pressure. For example, maybe your income stays the same, but your expenses go up, like school fees for your children or repaying a loan. Then that can make things feel tight financially. So you may feel like your savings aren't growing as they should. Still, Saturn always rewards honest effort. So if you stay sincere, take your responsibilities seriously, and do things the right way, that is, walk the path of righteousness, then by the end of this transit, Saturn can actually provide you good financial progress. There's also a shift happening with Ketu, which will move to Virgo, from Virgo to Leo in mid-May, your 10th house. But currently it is still in Virgo. So Saturn's aspect on Virgo might also bring some changes in your social circle, your relationships, or with your elder siblings as well. You might begin to notice who truly supports you and who doesn't. This can help you understand who your real well-wishers are. Now, Saturn's 10th aspect will fall on your second house, the sign of Sagittarius. During this time, Jupiter will also be aspecting the same house when it enters the sign of Gemini, and until it is present in Gemini. So both Jupiter and Saturn, two major planets, will be looking at your second house together. This can bring some important changes or shifts in your financial situation. Since Saturn is also aspecting your 11th house, restriction in your finances might be felt. The good thing is Jupiter's aspect can act as a kind of support or protection. So as long as Jupiter stays in Gemini, you will still have some relief. But it's important to note, if you try to take shortcuts or follow unethical ways to make money or fulfill your desires, especially if it's just to enjoy luxuries, Saturn will not support that in the long run. So it's better to stay honest and disciplined with your money matters. This aspect can also bring some responsibilities or changes in your family. For example, maybe someone in your family gets married and moves out, like a sister leaving the house after marriage. It could also mean a new member joins the family. Either this change is positive or not will entirely depend on your personal chart. This transit will also impact your speech by making it harsh or blunt. So try to be very wise and thoughtful while having communication in both your personal and professional life. Overall, Saturn during this time will try to teach you how to handle your money matters, especially in terms of your family needs and responsibilities. It's a time where you will learn how to balance your financial duties with care and maturity. Now coming to the planets. If you have Sun in the sign of Pisces, positioned in your 5th house, and when Saturn transits over your natal Sun, then this may create a increase or boom of creativity. However, you may feel some tensions or some issues in your career. Take care of your children's health, and it might happen that they may go far away from you due to their career. And keep yourself grounded when it comes to your skills, knowledge, or creativity, as Saturn may not entertain ego. If you have Moon, now coming to Moon, if you have Moon in the sign of Pisces in the 5th house, and when Saturn transits over your natal Moon, then this marks as a peak phase of your Sade Sati, which might make you feel like your luck isn't on your side. You may experience a sense of restriction. You may feel like you are not getting the results you hoped for. But this is also a good time for learning new things. However, hard work and patience will be needed. So keep calm and try not to let anxiety or fear take over, and take care of your father's health. Journeys may happen, but you might also have to face obstacles. Coming to Mars, if you have Mars in the sign of Pisces, and when Saturn transits over your natal Mars, then take care of your health, because Mars is your ascendant lord, especially your stomach, your gut, and it is advisable that you do not argue with your children, because there are chances that you may have disputes with them. Don't be harsh towards them. Be soft and humble and loving in your communication and in your behavior as well. Provide warmth to them rather than being harsh and cold towards them. Now, if you have Venus in the sign of Pisces in your 5th house, and when Saturn transits over your Venus, this can bring new people into your life, possibly leading to romantic relationships or even marriage. It could be karmic connections or someone from your past. Maybe an ex could come back. For those in toxic relationship, this transit can help you break free from them. For married individuals, Saturn might bring challenges that will require you and your spouse to work together, strengthening your bond. Don't resist these challenges, face them with positive attitude. Although this is a wonderful time for spirituality, mantra chanting, and creativity as well. Now coming to Mercury. If you have Mercury in the sign of Pisces in the 5th house, and when Saturn transits over your natal Mercury, then this will create a great time for deep learnings such as astrology, occult sciences, research, spirituality, and whatnot. However, since Saturn is transiting over your 8th lord and 11th house lord, it's crucial to be cautious with your investments, including speculative investments. Avoid making impulsive or blind investments. You will experience slow but steady gains. So be patient. Saturn's transit over your 8th lord also means you should take extra care of your health, especially if you have any chronic issue or chronic disease, and watch over your children's well-being as well. Now coming to Jupiter. If you have Jupiter in the sign of Pisces, and when Saturn transits over your natal Jupiter, then this could bring positive results if you are trying to conceive. Even though some hurdles may arise, but keep your faith in God and stay patient and keep trying. This period is also excellent for mantra chanting, learning new skills for spirituality, and gaining new knowledge. If students put in effort, Saturn's transit over Jupiter will bring positive academic results. Now coming to Rahu. If you are Rahu in Pisces, and when Saturn transits over your natal Rahu, there are chances you may conceive through IVF or adopt a child. Your creativity will also enhance. However, this transit may also lead to disputes with children. So try to be as humble and patient as possible with them. Coming to Ketu. If you are Ketu in the sign of Pisces, and when Saturn transits over it, then this may bring health issues for your children and could also cause disputes with them. On a positive side, this is an excellent period for spiritual growth. Your children may need more of your attention now, so ensure you spend quality time with them. Don't neglect your responsibilities during this time. Be calm, polite, and patient with your children rather than being harsh and impatient. Coming to Saturn itself. If you have Saturn in the sign of Pisces, and when Saturn transits over your natal Saturn in the 5th house, this marks as Saturn return for you. During this period, it's crucial not to run away from your responsibilities, especially those related to your children. You may also find yourself volunteering at orphanages or similar institutions, which can be a fulfilling experience. This period will also bring responsibilities related to your mother and your younger siblings. Your mother can play a significant role in guiding you on your spiritual journey. This Saturn return is an excellent time to enhance your spirituality. So embrace this time, or embrace it to ease the impact of your transit. First, I will talk about the general impact of Saturn's transit in the sign of Pisces for your ascendant. After that, I will explain what happens when Saturn transits over different planets placed in Pisces in your chart. So first, listen to the general part because it applies to everyone, whether you have any planet in Pisces or not. Then move on to the part where I explain what Saturn will do when it moves over your natal planet in Pisces. Finally, try to combine both the parts for more complete understanding. But let me be very clear, the final outcome of any transit always depends on your personal chart. So let's begin. Sagittarius ascendant. For Sagittarius natives, Saturn entered the sign of Pisces, which is your 4th house. This time can bring a lot of emotional changes within you. You might feel a little emotionally blank, or maybe like you are not able to connect with your own feelings or the emotions of others the way you used to. Since Saturn has entered your fourth house, which is the house of home, mother, family, there can be some challenges at home too. There might be some pressure, maybe some emotional distance from your family, or you could feel frustrated when at home, or just not wanting to stay there much. This can also create issues with your mother. For some of you, this transit might actually take you away from your hometown or native place, maybe for work or for some other life reason. At the same time, there will be some people who will be staying at home more, maybe working from home or just handling more responsibilities at home. These responsibilities might mostly be related to your mother or home, or sometimes that this could feel a bit heavy or frustrating at times. But Saturn brings these duties for a reason, so try not to escape from these duties, from these responsibilities. Fulfill your duties with dedication. Just stay calm and patient, and things will slowly settle. This is also a time when some of you might think about buying a house or making changes in your current home, like renovation or construction. The key during this time is to stay grounded. Try to stay emotionally balanced. Focus on your home and family. And if anything feels overwhelming, just talk it out with your loved ones. Keep communication open and humble, which can really help in managing everything peacefully. Also, during this time, for some of you might feel like the more you try to focus on work or career, the more life pulls you back towards your home. So you may feel like you are being stressed in two directions. One side wants to focus on your goals, and the other side is asking you to take care of things at home. This push and pull can be a bit tiring and frustrating. So try to find balance between both these areas and trust that everything is unfolding the way it's meant to be. Although it's one of the hardest things to do, but at least try to do it. On a positive note, Saturn transiting your Moksha Sthan. It's a beautiful period for spiritual growth. Now coming to the aspects of Saturn, Saturn's third aspect will fall on the sign of Taurus, your sixth house. Because of this, your daily routine might slow a bit. You may feel like you are not able to move at your usual speed, or things are not flowing as smoothly as before. It could feel a little stuck or heavy. Health-wise too, if there are any issues you have been ignoring or haven't noticed, they might come up now, so you can deal with them properly. This is also the house of enemies. So anyone who has been working against you quietly or creating problems might start showing the real face. It might be uncomfortable at first, but in the long run, it will help you see things clearly and handle those situations in a stronger manner. For those of you preparing for competitive exams, this aspect of Saturn can feel like pressure. But if you stay consistent and keep working hard without losing focus, Saturn will support you in a positive manner. Coming to the seventh aspect of Saturn, Saturn's seventh aspect will fall in the sign of Virgo on your 10th house. This is where you might start noticing more responsibilities at work. There could be some stress or misunderstandings with your boss or co-workers. Just like before, you might feel pulled between your career and your home life, making it tricky to balance both smoothly. Saturn here wants you to be serious and disciplined about your work. It may ask you to do things again, maybe double check your efforts or improve the quality of what you're doing. This can feel tiring, but if you keep working honestly and stick to what's right, Saturn will slowly start giving you the positive results by the end of this transit. Now coming to the 10th aspect of Saturn. Saturn's 10th aspect will fall on your first house, the sign of Sagittarius. This transit will bring significant transformations for you, especially since Jupiter, your ascendant lord, will be aspecting your first house when it enters the sign of Gemini. And until Jupiter is present in Gemini, together, these two powerful planets will work on reshaping your life, your personality, your priorities, and even your comfort zone, your overall you. This period may also bring health issues as Saturn is aspecting both your first and sixth house. However, Jupiter's influence will guide you through these challenges, acting as a protective force. By the time Saturn leaves Pisces, you will have gone through deep personal transformation. You will become wiser, more patient, and more grounded. The lessons Saturn brings may not always be easy, but if you approach them with patience and learn from them, you will emerge as a more mature and balanced individual. Saturn's transit will force you to face your fears and challenges, but with the guidance of Jupiter, you will grow stronger and more resilient and mature. Now coming to the planets, if you have Sun in the sign of Pisces in your fourth house, and when Saturn transits over your natal Sun, it can create tensions, challenges, issues at home. You may face disagreements, conflicts, and ego issues with your family. The atmosphere may feel a bit irritating or frustrating, so it's important to stay calm and not let your anger handle any situation. Along with your mother, you need to take care of your father's health as well during this time if your Sun in the sign of Pisces in fourth house. And if your chart permits, this transit may bring a chance of promotion or increment for you. Now coming to Moon, if your Moon is the sign of Pisces, and when Saturn transits over your natal Moon in the fourth house, this will mark as a peak phase of Sadesati for you. This can bring anxiety, emotional turmoil, ups and downs, and challenges including health at home, especially related to your mother's health or property matters. If you are married, then marital issues with your spouse, issues with in-laws may also arise, and you may also face impulsive career decisions, which should be avoided at any cost. Major decisions should not be taken without proper thought and wisdom. Now coming to Mars, if you are Mars in the sign of Pisces and in your fourth house, Saturn's transit over your natal Mars can surface hidden fears. This can also trigger sleep issues for you. Be careful with your health, your mother's health, and your children's health as well. Issues with children may also arise. On the positive side, it boosts creativity, strategic thinking, and for some, if your chart permits, this may support foreign travels or buying property abroad. Now coming to Venus. If you have Venus in the sign of Pisces and when Saturn transits over your natal Venus in the fourth house, this transit can bring disputes related to property, legal matters, or home construction. The result will entirely depend on your karmic alignment, your personal chart. Still, on a positive note, this transit can bring financial gains for you. Now coming to Mercury. If you have Mercury in the sign of Pisces and when Saturn transits over your natal Mercury in your fourth house, then this will bring major changes in your career and in your relationship. For unmarried, marriage is also possible during this time. Avoid hasty decisions in career as much as possible. Patience and wisdom should be the key while making career decisions. Some of you might even work from home during this time. Now coming to Jupiter. If you are Jupiter in the sign of Pisces in your fourth house and when Saturn will transit over your natal Jupiter in your fourth house, then this transit can be a bit of a tricky period because Jupiter is your ascendant lord as well. Keep your eyes on your health and maintain a healthy routine as much as possible. You may be able to purchase a property or asset during this time. Also, try to maintain a positive approach in life during this time as much as possible. Now coming to Rahu, if you are Rahu in the sign of Pisces and when Saturn transits over your Rahu in the 4th house, be cautious while purchasing property or assets. Legal checks are must to avoid frauds. Disputes and arguments with mother may also arise. Here Saturn will try to break any illusion Rahu has created in your 4th house. So maintain an open-minded approach. Be accepting of any situation and go with the flow without resisting. Coming to Ketu. If you are Ketu in the sign of Pisces and when Saturn transits over it in your 4th house, then it might happen that you may have to move to a different place or out of your native or home, maybe because of your career or any other reason. A malefic planet transiting over another malefic health should not be ignored, especially when, in your mother's case. You may experience issues and a lack of peace at your home life as well. However, spiritually, this is going to be a beautiful time because this transit is happening in your moksha sthan. Now coming to Saturn itself, if you are Saturn in the sign of Pisces in the 4th house, and when Saturn transits over your natal Saturn, this will mark a Saturn return for you. This may bring lots of responsibilities to you at your home front. This will also bring your own responsibility to yourself. That is, you have to take care of yourself as well, your health as well. And this responsibility does not mean, when I say responsibility on home front, this does not mean that you have to go out and earn for your family or for your home. Responsibility can be in any form. Maybe you have to help at your home with the household chores, or maybe someone in your family is ill and you have to serve them. Responsibility can be in any form. The key here is to not run away from them, although this is a beautiful transit for spiritual growth. Saturn will also bring changes in your career as well. So do not resist any challenges or any hurdles that Saturn provides you. And if you pass the test of Saturn, then Saturn will provide you positive results by the end of this transit. First, I will talk about the general impact of Saturn's transit in the sign of Pisces for your ascendant. After that, I will explain what happens when Saturn transits over different planets placed in Pisces in your chart. So first, listen to the general part because it applies to everyone, whether you have any planet in Pisces or not. Then move on to the part where I explain what Saturn will do when it moves over your natal planet in Pisces. Finally, try to combine both the parts for more complete understanding. But let me be very clear, the final outcome of any transit always depends on your personal chart. So let's begin. Ascendants for Capricorn natives. Saturn entered the sign of Pisces, your 3rd house. Now, if you have struggled with communication or feel that it needs a refinement, Saturn's presence here will be your teacher. This transit may create challenges in how you communicate with others, especially your younger siblings or neighbors. Saturn may bring a tendency to be more direct, blunt, or even harsh in your communication. So, you should be very careful in your communication because this could sometimes lead to misunderstandings or difficult situations. Therefore, please be very thoughtful, mindful, and wise in your interactions during this time. Saturn in the 3rd house can also bring feelings of fear or hesitation when it comes to new initiatives or projects or ventures. Even when you have everything in place, plans, strategies, finances, you might still find yourself wondering, what if something goes wrong? These doubts, often unfounded, are part of Saturn's way of testing your mental resolve and strength. Sometimes the fears may be real, but more often they are just obstacles for you to overcome. The key here is how you manage these fears, how mentally strong you are, and how you approach challenges. Your decisions during this time will have a significant impact on the results Saturn provides. By the end of this transit, you will likely emerge with a stronger willpower and improved communication skills, having worked through any obstacles or self-doubt. Saturn will also bring any flaws in your approach or planning to the surface, giving you the opportunity to improve and refine them. This is a time for growth, but it will require you to face your fears and work on strengthening your resolve. Short troubles may happen during this time, but expect some hurdles along the way. It's a good period for those who are into writing, like novel writers, or who are into any kind of folk art, who require skills of hands. Those into communication marketing may also see positive growth during this time. Now, talking about the aspects of Saturn, Saturn's third aspect will fall on the sign of Taurus, your fifth house, which governs creativity, entertainment, and children. With Saturn's influence here, you may feel some restrictions or delays in these areas. If you are facing delays in matters related to children or pregnancy, Saturn's aspect may bring positive results, but expect some hurdles along the way. If you are pregnant, it's important to prioritize your health. And if you have children, be especially mindful of their well-being and studies during this time. Saturn's influence may also shift your focus towards your children, making you more responsible and attentive to their needs. On a positive note, Saturn's aspect on the fifth house is favorable for spiritual growth and mantra chanting, which can help you find balance and clarity of mind during this time. This will be a good time to strengthen your spiritual practices, as they can bring peace and stability to your life. Now, coming to the seventh aspect, Saturn's seventh aspect will fall on the sign of Virgo, your ninth house. This aspect brings a supportive energy for spiritual growth. Although you may feel that your luck is slow, so it's important to be on an ethical path as much as possible. This transit will test your resilience, as Saturn will make you to stand strong in the face of any obstacles. You may face some difficulties with your father's health during this period, so extra care and attention is required. Communication issues or misunderstanding with him or gurus may also arise. For those pursuing higher studies, this is a good time, but be prepared for hard work and dedication. If you plan to travel, you might encounter delays or hindrances. Now, coming to the 10th aspect of Saturn. Saturn's 10th aspect will fall on your 12th house, the sign of Sagittarius. This could create some minor issues with sleep and occasional restlessness or anxiety. However, Jupiter will soon enter the sign of Gemini, and until it is present in Gemini, its aspect on Sagittarius provides a saving grace. So these sleep disturbances may not be as severe. There may also be some health concerns for you. However, it's favorable for those working in healing professions. This period is a good time for those in fields such as yoga, Reiki, spiritual healing, astrology, and even medical practices, where your expertise can be amplified. In addition to health matters, the combined influence of Saturn and Jupiter on your 12th house will encourage deep spiritual growth. This will be an ideal time for meditation, introspection, and enhancing your spiritual practices. And by focusing on your well-being and maintaining a positive mindset, you will be able to navigate this period with greater ease. Now, coming to the planets, if your sun in the sign of Pisces, and when Saturn transits over your natal sun, then it can trigger ego clashes with your siblings or neighbors, and may also bring self-doubt. And you might also feel low on confidence when starting something new. So be very wise and very careful with your speech during this time, and also be very wise and careful with your initiations. Don't take any impulsive decisions. Now coming to moon. If your moon in the sign of Capricorn, this is a peak phase of your Sadesati, because Saturn will transit over your natal moon. This can create misunderstandings in your marriage or business partnerships. Responsibilities in marriage may increase, leading to frustration. Communication may reduce or become harsh. Your partner might feel low emotionally, so stay calm, gentle and supportive to maintain harmony. Now coming to Mars. If you have Mars in the sign of Pisces, and when Saturn transits over your natal Mars in your third house, then it may bring tensions at home or some financial restrictions. But it was also a good time to act with strategy. If used wisely, it can support new initiatives for you. And if the chart supports, then you may even see growth in your career. Just try to keep your desires in control as much as possible. Now coming to Venus. If your Venus in the sign of Pisces, and when Saturn transits over your natal Venus, then this transit boosts creativity, especially in arts, crafts, writing or design. But be cautious about your children's health. Career changes are also likely, but whether these changes will be positive or negative will entirely depend on your chart and your karmas. Now coming to Mercury. If you have Mercury in the sign of Pisces, and when Saturn will transit over your Mercury, natal Mercury in your third house, then you need to be careful of your health issues, especially any issues relating to your stomach. You might even feel that your luck is not working in your favor. So just have patience, work hard and stick to the righteous path, and you will see positive results by the end of this transit. Now coming to Jupiter. If you are Jupiter in the sign of Pisces, and when Saturn transits over your natal Jupiter, it may bring out your hidden fears, sleep disturbances or health concerns. You might feel low or struggle to start something new. But if you face your fears and keep working hard with a positive mindset, positive approach, then positive results will come to you sooner or later. And if your chart permits, then either you or maybe your sibling may be able to go to foreign lands. Now coming to Rahu. If you have Rahu in the sign of Pisces, and when Saturn transits over your natal Rahu, then this transit can play a major role in controlling your overconfidence in particular matters. It is good to be confident, but it is not wise to be overconfident. So try to be grounded and humble as much as possible during this time. You need to be very, very, very careful of your speech during this time with siblings and neighbors. Saturn will try to break any illusion Rahu has created in your third house. Although good period for those into communication, artistic, marketing or creative fields. Now coming to Ketu. If you are Ketu in the sign of Pisces, and when Saturn transits over it, then first of all you need to be very, very, very careful of your speech, as it will become harsh during this phase. It might even happen that your siblings may go far away to a different location during this time. When Saturn will teach you in its own way to keep patience and the importance of avoiding impulsive choices in your life. Now coming to Saturn itself. If you are Saturn in the sign of Pisces in third house, and when Saturn transits over your natal Saturn, it marks as Saturn return for you. Now here responsibilities will increase, especially towards your younger siblings and family. You may feel pulled to start something new, but it won't be easy. Saturn will put hurdles to test you. You must also take care of your health issues with issues especially related to shoulders, lungs, arms or hands may arise. If you stay grounded, learn your lessons and limit your desires, this transit will shape you into a stronger, wiser person. First, I will talk about the general impact of Saturn's transit in the sign of Pisces for your ascendant. After that, I will explain what happens when Saturn transits over different planets placed in Pisces in your chart. So first, listen to the general part because it applies to everyone, whether you have any planet in Pisces or not. Then move on to the part where I explain what Saturn will do when it moves over your natal planet in Pisces. Finally, try to combine both the parts for more complete understanding. But let me be very clear, the final outcome of any transit always depends on your personal chart. So let's begin. Aquarius Ascendant. For Aquarius natives, Saturn will transit your second house, which governs your finances, family matters, speech and values. This transit brings a slight relief compared to Saturn's previous transit through your first house, as it may feel less intense. However, with Rahu soon transiting your first house, there may still be some underlying challenges. While this phase is less stressful, it does come with its own set of responsibilities and lessons. Saturn's transit in the second house will bring more focus to your family and financial matters. You may find yourself taking on more responsibilities related to your family or home, and these could feel heavy at times. Health issues in the family may also arise, and financial challenges as well. Saturn, being the 12th lord in the second house, will increase your expenses, so it's important to be disciplined when it comes to saving and managing money. This could also highlight areas where you need to make improvements or cut back on unnecessary expenses. Although if this transit goes positive in your chart, it may even provide financial gains as well. One important thing about this transit is the potential impact on your eating and drinking habits. Saturn's placement here could lead to a tendency to neglect your physical health by skipping meals or focusing too much on work, which can affect your nutrition and overall well-being. You might be drawn to cold foods rather than fresh, healthy options. So it's crucial to stay disciplined in your eating habits. Make sure to eat on time, eat healthy, drink plenty of water, and prioritize your health to avoid any issues down the road. Saturn's influence may also make your speech more blunt or cold, especially in family matters. Your communication style could become more direct or even harsh. So it's important to be mindful of how you express yourself, particularly with your loved ones. In terms of finances, Saturn may make you work hard to earn money, especially if you have been relying on shortcuts or unethical practices in the past. If you stay disciplined and focused on working diligently, Saturn will reward you with greater stability in the long run. Now coming to the aspect, Saturn's third aspect will fall on the sign of Taurus, your fourth house. This can make you feel some pressure or responsibility at home. You might not feel very comfortable at home during this time, or there could be some emotional distance or small issues with family members. Sometimes when responsibilities increase, it can feel heavy, especially for those who naturally don't enjoy taking a lot of responsibility. In that case, it could lead to frustration, and if this frustration builds up, it might turn into anger, which can disturb the peace at home. So it's better to stay calm and accept the duties that come your way. Saturn usually appreciates those who take responsibility seriously and with patience. Also, there could be some minor concerns related to your mother's health, and there might be small misunderstandings with her. Try to stay alert and deal with these things calmly and wisely. Saturn always wants us to learn through patience and maturity, especially when it's influencing important areas like home and family. Now, coming to the seventh aspect of Saturn. Seventh aspect will fall on the 8th house, the sign of Virgo. As mentioned earlier, it's a good time to take extra care of your health. Your eating habits especially can create issues, so try to keep them clean and balanced. Also, avoid getting into arguments. Staying peaceful will help you a lot. Since this aspect is on the 8th house, Saturn is asking you to be smart with your finances. It's better to focus on long-term and low-risk investments during this time instead of going for quick profits or risky options. Be very thoughtful and careful when it comes to dealing with matters related to your money and property. This period might also bring you some benefits through inheritance or ancestral property only if your chart permits. Now coming to the 10th aspect of Saturn. Saturn's 10th aspect will fall on your 11th house, the sign of Sagittarius. Now if you choose to stay honest, follow the right path and avoid shortcuts, Saturn will definitely support you and bring good opportunities and growth. But if you try to take the easy way out or avoid responsibilities, Saturn may hold back those blessings. At the same time, Jupiter will soon enter Gemini and will also aspect Sagittarius at your 11th house. So both Saturn and Jupiter together are influencing this part of your life, and they want to bring some positive changes. But still, the choice will always be yours, whether you follow what they are trying to teach or not. Together, this energy will help you understand who truly supports you and who doesn't. You may get more clarity about your real friends, your elder siblings, and the people in your wider network. You will also learn how to build better, more meaningful relationships with these people. So during this time, keep an open mind and be willing to learn. Be polite, speak with care, and treat others thoughtfully. That attitude will help you receive the most benefits from this phase. Saturn and Jupiter are both trying to guide you towards long-term happiness and support. Just be ready to listen to what they are trying to show. Now coming to the planets, if your Sun in the sign of Pisces in your D1 chart, and when Saturn transits over your natal Sun, then this can trigger ego clashes within the family. You might face health issues related to eyes and neck. Also avoid excessive spicy or fried food. Stick to clean, healthy diet. Now if you have Moon in the sign of Pisces, and when Saturn transits over your natal moon, this will mark as peak phase of your Sadesati. It may bring emotional disturbances, stress, family concerns, and some financial restrictions for you. You might feel a lack of liquid money on hand. You might see some slowness and changes in your daily routine life, and even if things aren't that bad, you might see some slowness and changes in your daily routine life, even if things aren't that bad. So try to stay calm and fulfill your responsibilities with patience and dedication, and stay away from disputes as much as possible. Coming to Mars. If you have Mars in the sign of Pisces, and when Saturn transits over your natal Mars in the 2nd house, then this may bring many changes in your career and finances. This will also bring a lot of hard work for you in the career. Although this transit of Saturn over your natal Mars will also help you strategize your work. So use this period to be disciplined and be strategic in your work and be practical in your work. And avoid disputes, especially with neighbors. Now coming to Venus. If you have Venus in the sign of Pisces, and when Saturn transits over your natal Venus, then this is a good time financially. This may bring responsibility towards your parents. If it goes positive in your chart, then it may make you learn in the Saturnian way the difference between wants and your needs. Coming to Mercury, if you have Mercury in the sign of Pisces, and when Saturn transits over your natal Mercury in the 2nd house, then this transit of Saturn over your 8th lord may bring some ups and downs in family life. Saturn may highlight health issues, yours and someone, and also someone in your family, especially if there's a chronic condition. Be extra careful with your food. There could also be misunderstanding or even insults So think before you speak and stay calm. Now coming to Jupiter. If you are Jupiter in the sign of Pisces, and when Saturn transits over your natal Jupiter in the second house, financially you may find some restriction. It may make you work hard for gains. But if you are on the ethical path, then by the end of this transit, you may see positive results in regards to finance. Just try to keep your desires as low as possible. Someone in the family may go to abroad during this time. And now if you have Rahu in the sign of Pisces in your second house, and when Saturn will transit over your natal Rahu, then this can also bring financial strain for those who have a habit of spending a lot unnecessarily. Health needs attention, particularly eyes, throat and teeth. Don't ignore your family duties assigned to you, as it may not encourage your Saturn in a positive manner. Now coming to Ketu. If you are Ketu in the sign of Pisces in the second house, and when Saturn transits over it, then there could be a feeling of detachment in relationships or misunderstandings over money. Watch your words carefully. Stay humble and calm in conversations. Your speech will play a major role in shaping your image. Financial challenges may also show off if your chart isn't supportive. Now coming to Saturn itself. If you are Saturn in the sign of Pisces, and when Saturn transits over your natal Saturn, it will mark as Saturn return for you. Health needs attention. Health should not be ignored. Don't even ignore your duties now. If you handle everything with patience and maturity, Saturn will reward you by the end of this phase. And try to save money as much as possible, and don't do unnecessary expenses, as this transit may increase your expenditures. First, I will talk about the general impact of Saturn's transit in the sign of Pisces for your ascendant. After that, I will explain what happens when Saturn transits over different planets placed in Pisces in your chart. So first, listen to the general part, because it applies to everyone, whether you have any planet in Pisces or not. Then move on to the part where I explain what Saturn will do when it moves over your natal planet in Pisces. Finally, try to combine both the parts for more complete understanding. But let me be very clear, the final outcome of any transit always depends on your personal chart. So let's begin. Pisces ascendant. For Pisces native, Saturn has entered your first house, your ascendant. This is a very important shift for you, because the first house is all about your body, your health, your personality, basically your overall whole life, entire life. So this transit is going to affect many areas at once. Your health, your relationship, your career, your home environment, and even how people see you, your public image. Since Saturn is also your 12th lord and it's entering your first house, you need to be extra careful about your health. And soon Rahu will also move to your 12th house, which makes this even more important. If your birth chart supports it, this could indicate things like hospitalization, but this will only happen if your chart supports it. Otherwise, it won't be the case for everyone. This is also a good time to leave behind any kind of habits like smoking, drinking, or any kind of unhealthy routine. These things might seem small, but during this transit, they could affect you strongly than usual. On a brighter side, if you have been thinking about losing weight or improving your health, this is a great time. Saturn in the first house supports discipline. So if you put in the effort with food and exercise, you can actually make some long-term progress. But if you are already underweight or weak, be careful. There's a chance you could lose more weight or feel more tired if you are not taking care of your nutrition, your health, and your routine. Now with Saturn in the first house and Ketu moving to your 6th house, you might notice that your energy is slowing down. You could feel more tired or even a little lazy. Procrastination might also creep in. So try to be mindful about staying active and not pushing things off too much. This time is really meant to help you focus on yourself, your health and your routine and your overall well-being. It's also asking you to find a better balance between your personal and professional life. This won't always be easy, but try your best to manage both sides without burning out. At least try. Spiritually, this can be a very deep and powerful time for Pisces natals. Saturn, being the 12th lord in the ascendant, can actually open up with your inner self, inner side. And if Rahu is working positive in the 12th house, when in the upcoming transit of Rahu, then you might see a lot of spiritual growth. If you are into meditation, healing or any kind of inner work, this is very supportive time for you. Also, since Saturn is your 11th lord as well, there can be gains coming your way, maybe financially or through social circles or connections. But those gains will not come instantly. You will need patience, and Saturn will definitely test your efforts before giving you results. Just remember, Saturn always rewards those who stay committed and don't give up. At times during this transit, you might feel low or even a little negative. You could start doubting yourself or feel slightly depressed without knowing why. It's very important during this time to keep your mind strong. Don't let negativity overpower you. Stay grounded, stay connected to people who make you feel positive, and focus on your mental and physical strength. Try to share your problems and take guidance from someone, time to time, who you trust and the one who can help you. This is a phase of growth. Even if it feels slow, it is working on you deeply from inside. Now, talking about the aspects of Saturn, Saturn's third aspect will fall on your third house, the sign of Taurus. During this time, you may face some challenges with communication, whether it's with your siblings, neighbors, or even in your general way of speaking. There could be misunderstandings, or you may feel a little more responsible for your siblings than usual. So it's important to stay calm, speak with care, and maintain a humble attitude. Since Saturn is sitting in your first house and looking at the third house, it may also bring some inner doubt, especially if you are thinking about starting something new, like a new project or a business or any new initiation. This doubt might not always be based on real issues, but it could simply be fear or hesitation within you. And this may even cause delays or hurdles in taking those first steps. Saturn might test your motivation and patience here. Since Saturn is sitting in your first house and looking at the third house, it may also bring some inner doubt, especially if you are thinking about starting something new, like a new project or a business or any new initiation. This doubt might not always be based on real issues. It could simply be fear or hesitation within you. And this may even cause delays or hurdles in taking those first steps. Saturn might test your motivation and patience here. But if your chart supports new beginnings, then don't be afraid to move forward. Just make sure you are well prepared. Do your research, plan your strategies properly, and be ready to face some ups and downs. Saturn never denies success to those who stay determined. Yes, it may slow things down, but once you prove your dedication, results can be very strong and long lasting. Now, the seventh aspect of Saturn will fall on your seventh house, in the sign of Virgo. So, during this time, you may face some test in your personal and professional relationships. Married people may experience some misunderstandings with their partner. And in business, there might be delays in deals, negotiations, or a feeling of imbalance in partnerships. those who are waiting for marriage. This transit can also bring marriage into your life only if your chart supports. But again, Saturn will test the bond, so make sure it's built on the right foundation. If both of you handle things with love, peace and maturity, then by the end of this transit, your relationship can become even stronger than before. So try to avoid unnecessary arguments. Stay patient and give space and time to other person too. The more calmly you handle things, the better Saturn will reward you later. Now Saturn's 10th aspect will fall on your 10th house, the sign of Sagittarius. Now, for some time, Jupiter will also be aspecting your 10th house while it stays in Gemini. So this creates a double transit of both Saturn and Jupiter on your 10th house. This combination is quite powerful and brings important changes in your professional life. There will be challenges, of course. Saturn will make you work hard and face some delays or pressure. But at the same time, this is a phase of deep learning. If you stay committed to your work, stick to ethical ways and avoid shortcuts, then over time, both Saturn and Jupiter will support you with steady growth and success. The results won't be instant. The progress will be slow but steady. You may face some issues with your colleagues or your seniors during this time. Maybe some misunderstandings or extra workload. But this phase can also bring career progress and even increments if you stay patient and focused on your responsibilities and if your chart permits. Now coming to the planets. If your sun in the sign of Pisces and when Saturn transits over your natal sun in your first house, then it can bring some health concerns for you and some issues in your career as well. In your career, you may feel stuck where you might have to face politics or lose some of your confidence. But if you stay on the right path and put in honest effort and keep your ego grounded, then Saturn will make you stronger and help you come out of all these hurdles, even from legal or career related stress. Now coming to moon. If your moon in the sign of Pisces and when Saturn will transit over your natal moon, then this will mark as a peak phase of Sadasati for you. It can bring depression, anxiety, sleep issues and confusion in decisions. Avoid impulsiveness as much as possible. Saturn wants to teach you patience, calmness and maturity. If you don't resist the lessons of Saturn and walk the righteous path, Saturn will reward you in the final phase of Sadasati by releasing your stress and problems. Again, health concerns should not be ignored. Now coming to Mars. If you have Mars in the sign of Pisces and when Saturn transits over your natal Mars, then you might feel that your luck is not favoring you. Family responsibilities may arise, especially related to your father and its health. Saturn will make you work extra hard and make things move. It may also shift your eating habits as well. You might do spiritual journeys as well on a positive note, but just expect some hurdles. Now coming to Venus. If you have Venus in the sign of Pisces and when Saturn transits over your natal Venus in the first house, then this transit of Saturn may bring health issues for you, especially if you are into bad habits like intoxication. Saturn will try to break those habits. Although on a positive note, this is a very beautiful period for spirituality and also for learning deep knowledges such as astrology, occult mysticism and even doing some sort of research work. Sudden gains are also possible during this time if your chart permits. Now coming to Mercury. If you have Mercury in the sign of Pisces in the first house and when Saturn transits over your natal Mercury, then this period will bring responsibilities and issues towards your mother, your home front and your spouse as well. If you are single, it can bring a chance to marry if your chart supports. If you are a business person, then while implementing any decisions in your business, Be very wise and patient regarding that. Coming to Jupiter, if you are Jupiter in the sign of Pisces in the first house, and when Saturn transits over in natal Jupiter, your ascendant lord, then this will impact you largely when it comes to your health. So health should not be ignored at all at any cost. This transit will make you work harder. You may feel low on energy and sometimes even low on your faith as well. Your faith might be tested. But don't lose your faith, don't lose your heart. This is Saturn's way of testing your strength and belief in God. Your career may bring challenges, especially with bosses or co-workers, but hard work will slowly pay off. If you are trying to conceive, it may happen, but with struggles. Now coming to Rahu, if you are Rahu in the sign of Pisces, and when Saturn will transit over your natal Rahu, then Saturn will try to break any false ego or illusion created by Rahu in your first house. You may get strong reality checks. So just go with the flow and don't resist Saturn's lessons. This combo can also bless you with unique ideas and a different perspective, which can make you stand out in a good way if you take it positively. Now coming to Ketu, if you are Ketu in the sign of Pisces, and when Saturn will transit over your natal Ketu, then Saturn's transit will be beautiful for your spiritual growth. You may feel detached or want to isolate yourself, which is a great thing for connecting to your inner self, but be careful. This distance can affect your relationships and career. Responsibilities might feel heavy or boring, but don't ignore them. Saturn here can also make you lazy or emotionally cold. So stay humble, grounded and compassionate, especially in your communication. Now coming to Saturn. If you are Saturn in the sign of Pisces, and when Saturn transits over your natal Saturn, then this will mark as Saturn return for you. Here you may feel like you are under some pressure, but if you have been walking the path of truth, walking the path of dharma, and if you have learned from your past and faced challenges without shortcuts, then Saturn will reward you by the end of this transit. On a positive note, if your chart permits, then you may go to foreign land, and yes, you may face health issues, sleep disturbances and rising expenses, but Saturn will also give you spiritual strength, inner growth and real maturity. Just don't resist. Go with the flow, stay patient, and let Saturn transform you into a wiser version of yourself.